go green. Hello, welcome to the Small Gamer. I'm your host, Rob, and I'm live in Melbourne, Australia with Mr. Joe Pagano from the Rage Sigmar.
How you doing?
And I'm with Feet Randy.
Hello, everybody. How are you going?
Live. We're sorry it's a little bit late. We had technical issues, mainly to do with sleeping longer.
Yeah, so Rob last night told us that he wanted to stream at 7. We're like, yeah, that sounds fine. That's great. Let's do that. We go to sleep. Like, as far as I'm concerned, Joe, we told Rob that's fine. Let's do that. As in, wake us up and we'll do it.
Definitely.
And then Rob is so much of a nice guy that he's like, oh, these two guys are asleep. I'm not gonna disturb them.
Well, I didn't want to subject you to my snoring. Was like that key element.
I have heard tales of the Rob Symes chainsaw.
And how did you feel about it?
I've slept fine.
Oh, good.
Six and a half hours worth of good sleep.
Definitely not that bad. I heard other people in the community, like...
Speckles?
No, but I'm drawing a blank on their name right now.
Good.
It's been a really long weekend.
So hello to everyone. Okay, no problem. I can deal with that. Hello to everyone in the chat. If you are watching, by the way, big shout out to, and you listen to the podcast. If you're watching live, thanks. If you're watching post-recorded, give us a thumb and like, but I hope you're good. If you listen to the podcast, stay hydrated, especially my Aussie bros.
Oh my goodness, that is so true.
Just stay hydrated.
Yeah. Especially if you go to week tournaments and you party. Like, my goodness. I've consumed so many bottles of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. And then if you are, and thank you to everyone on the Oswald Game Patreon, big up, and if you subscribe, thanks. Got to get through all those. Yeah, I was going to record that in a segment at one point, sometime soon. What do you reckon?
Play it.
Yeah, just play it at the start.
Yeah.
Like, you're great. But then, I just feel it. Like, anyway, you guys are great. Thanks very much. Help me do all the content, even if people don't like it. Right, hello, Velatron, Jay Berry. I hope you're good.
Shout out to Jacob Berry.
Hey, Jacob. How's it going, buddy?
Jacob Berry.
Hey, Ruskies. How's it going? You need to talk a bit. We're going to live test your audio, even though we tested it before. You saw?
Yeah, we did.
We
tested.
talk a bit? Do I sound good? Anthony Polcastro, how about you? Rob wants me to not say crazy shit, but I'm going to just hug you until you can't breathe anymore around your neck with my hands. Out of love, though. Out of successful love.
We should be good. There we go. That's better, apparently.
No, thanks, Ant.
There we go. Vangelis, what up? Right, so we're here today, obviously a bit late, trying to get roughly around the normal live time. We're going to be talking about Cancon 2020, world's largest Age of Sigmar event, our little own personal journey. There is a podcast coming out from the Dwellers Below, which had
the mega
a
cast.
whole bunch of content creators in.
Yep.
It was possibly the most content creators for Age of Sigmar I've ever seen in one place.
Yep. And Grumpy Sam. Sam Morgan.
Grumpy Sam, yeah.
Yeah, Grumpy Sam, and obviously Swoley.
He was Thirsty Sam the night before, so he balances it. All's right in the universe.
Yeah, we should stop calling him Smorgan and start calling him Snorgab, because he's gone back to the old glory days of being really thirsty.
My favourite bit was when at the end of the very long podcast he was like, "There's about 10 seconds of useful information there. Great work."
yeah, that's very true.
Okay, so obviously we're live in Australia, which is awesome. I've had an amazing time. I just want to say, before I get into anything talking about the weekend, I need to say a lot of thank yous. I'm sorry you got to go through it. Obviously, huge thank you to you two.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
You guys are amazing. Big shout out to Nick Cohen who put me up at the weekend, and then everyone from the weekend, especially Clint who ran the event from the Heralds of War. Also have to thank everyone who helped me with the live stream, which is Vince Ventrella. Apparently I say his name wrong all the time, which I love. Ventrella? Apparently I say it wrong.
I don't know. I've never really paid attention enough to read his last name. I saw V.A. Italian, cool. Is my.
What about Vince V?
Vincey V.
Vincey V.
Vincey V.
That's his Italian name now.
How you doing, Vincey V? What's going on? How's your mother? She good? She good? All right. You get your ass eaten recently?
Vincey V. More on that later. That's some hot gossip coming from the show. Also, a big shout out to Gemma from the Fail Charge, and in fact, all the Fail Charge guys.
Oh, they were great.
They're fantastic. They're amazing people, and they've actually, like, Gemma has a real talent for being on stream.
Yeah.
Like, she knows what she's doing. She's really articulate. She's great.
I watched the one they did when they did their first one at that tournament they were at, and she was pretty good. I was like, wow, this is impressive for being their first time streaming.
Super passionate as well. Like I was talking to I was one of the big missions this weekend was just to get Gemma on the stream running it herself. What's funny is just Vince is so talented. Just like Vince, you be Vince. Yeah, just be Vince. And like one of the games, and you guys may have seen, we had a bunch of technical issues. Talk more about that later. But Vince was just rolling through the show, being himself, right? Like, which is what we want. I wish I had that talent. And then big shout out to Mr. Dan AOS Shorts, who not only obviously did the infield reporting, but he did an absolute fuck ton of. He kept drawing me maps for what the deployment was like. He kept sending me links to lists in that like robotic, efficient powerhouse move that Shortsy is, and was super kind all weekend. So like he was huge. Which was just rad. Nick Hohen, obviously already thanked him for putting me up, but again, like he went and got half cut Saturday. Not like all the way. He didn't get too drunk. You guys stopped drinking at 5?
Are you kidding
Cowards?
me?
We
Cowards.
started drinking probably at like 7 p.m. and then we rocked all the way until like 5:20 a.m.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how to guarantee success at day 2 of a tournament. Is you just stay out until places no longer allow you to stay there.
I'm gonna only get an hour and 45 minutes of sleep every tournament.
Yeah. even like obviously we're skipping ahead, but even I managed to win my round 4 game after a 3-win losing streak, and I think it's all in part to the fact that we didn't get any sleep and we were still drunk.
You guys were so zen. I saw you all Sunday lunch, and it was like a whole group of men who were like you'd plateaued. You were like, we're our joy. We are in this joyous zone that we couldn't get out of. Thanks, Colonel Cabbage. Vince was amazing. I know it sounds like a bit of a backhanded compliment, but you were better when you were working with him. Yeah, like different commentary teams, like they bounce off each other, and also you've got to give. I'll talk more on that later. You guys can ask me some questions if you fancy, but I just want to say thanks to everyone. Nick, Dan, Vince. So yeah, I think
it's different dynamics. Different people bring different dynamics on, and then you bounce, you adapt, and like sometimes you just end up picking something up from someone who does something similar. Like Vince has got his channel and everything like that. Yeah. Sometimes you just passively pick stuff up and learns off someone, and just
also like who has more live streaming experience than Vince, right?
Yeah, he's been like if you talk about live streaming tournaments or coverage, then obviously that's me. But he's
his
been.
Show is always live, so he kind of knows how to like ebb and flow conversation really well. Like I'm not doing right now when I interrupted you, but it's totally different from doing it with Jacob Perry, who's just like 5 trillion jokes a minute, maybe one hits, but it doesn't matter because they're funny.
Just keep going with them jokes. Joke.
Cluster bomb of jokes, and it's amazing. So yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, by the way, anyone subscribing. We don't really have all the panel up to see some of the info, so if I miss it, I'm sorry, but big shout out and thanks. So yeah, thank you to all those. And one more big shout out is to DJ Batman, who spent 4 hours. Set up on the Friday was 9.5 hours. Last 4 hours was just me and DJ Batman just doing it together. And he helped me out with sound, a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm just going to put your mic up one more time, Joe. There we go. And which was, he didn't need to, but he did, and that was it was unsung hero. So big shout out, big love. All right, so what did you guys get up to this weekend? Talk to me through it. Obviously, you both travelled over. How were your flights? A bit similar.
Oh yeah, it was just really tiring for me. 45 minutes across the Bass Strait into Melbourne. It was rough. Probably comparable to Joe, right?
Sounds awful, dude. I'm so sorry. You guys deserve shit time. It took me 33 hours to get here. I felt like I was on the Oregon Trail. I died of dysentery.
I love how Rob is paying so much attention to the chat just to make sure that no one gets anything missed, and he reads everything from everyone.
Sound. I was using the chat to check the sound, but yeah, the Oregon Trail the whole way.
Yeah, it was just I had to shoot a buffalo to eat. It was brutal.
Hanging out with all those Danish settlers.
Yeah. So no, I got.
Did you guys find the Books of Mormon on the way?
No, I had the gold tablets with me.
Oh, you had them with you. Good, solid. Yeah,
it was brutal. But no, I actually flew with a lot of Mormons, and I was wearing a.
Yarmulke?
No, I had a memorial. I had a memorial T-shirt from a friend of mine who passed away, and he was a big death metal singer. He had all upside down crosses tattooed on his neck and shit. So, and the Mormon dude's staring at me in the airport, and I'm like, Fuck, dude, please don't talk to me about saving my soul. I'll just fucking crash this plane with everyone on it. I don't care. Fuck this. So yeah, but it was a really long trip, and didn't know you needed to get a travel visa to go through New Zealand.
Turns out you don't, right?
Well, yeah, so I didn't know that you needed one. They told me. They made me pay for it, and then it's like pending. And like, get on the plane, and I'm like, fuck, I'm getting deported as soon as I get to New Zealand. I'm like, you don't have a visa, get out. He goes, revoke my passport and shit. And then got through New Zealand real fine. I was like, okay. Got on my plane, got to Melbourne, got in the van with the guys. We started driving up, got an email saying that I was good to go. So, catch up, NZ. I know you guys are a little behind on like technology maybe, but fuck.
That's good. Randy, how far did you travel?
So for me, it's just like a 10, 20-minute drive to the airport. I'm in the middle of the northwest coast of Tassie, and that airport's so small. It's a tiny little Dash 8, so my case doesn't even fit in the overhead. I have to ask them very nicely to put it as premium hand luggage. It's some weird thing Qantas does. And then they only fly to Melbourne, which was good though, because we'd planned in advance. We'll road trip up. You were already here in Melbourne with Nick Owen, so yeah, it was good. And I find that the last thing I want is to have a long drive home after a tournament. So I'm like, we all fly out this Wednesday, and I'm just glad it's like 15 minutes, and then I can get home and just fall down somewhere.
Yeah,
preferably
I
somewhere
felt
soft.
rough after the travel. So I set out Sunday morning and arrived here Tuesday morning. So, but I was feeling rough. Then Nick made me pump up my own airbed. Good
You know
plan.
they make motorized pumps for airbeds, right?
Yeah, no, you work for it. You earn this right. So a little nap, bought some toiletries and stuff. I was super overweight on the flight, getting to the airport with all the equipment and stuff. So I had to dump a bunch of it. Like, I was going to bring some dice to sell. Like, that didn't pan out. Left a bunch of stuff. So at the airport, but managed to get on the flight, which is good. Not 100% sure about the flight back, but we'll see, which is cool. And then, flight was fine. I can't sleep on flights at the minute because I snore. I know I snore. So I start falling asleep, then I panic because I don't want to wreck everyone's adventure on the plane.
It is pretty loud snoring.
Yeah.
That was like the nicest part about NashCon was you were in Jacob Berry's mansion's like East Wing, and it was only a low murmur in the West Wing. So
There's just some light renovation happening in that wing at the moment.
By the way, I hope you're all good in the chat. Big flight, landed with Nick, which was cool. Hung out with Nick for a couple of days. He put me up, cooked me dinner. We hung out, real nice of him. And then we road tripped in the Hertz locker with Mr. Danny Carroll.
in Hertz locker, yeah.
In the Hertz locker, all right.
I know Nick did a fair bit of driving here and there in the van, but like Danny, just chauffeur extraordinaire, that man. What can't he do? He can act. He can play Warhammer. Danny plays.
The part that
Danny plays.
Danny plays.
Yeah.
But with Danny's driving is he did it while everyone was awake and excited and singing and shit. Nick did it. We all fell asleep.
Yeah,
Nick was all by himself. Just I woke up because he fell asleep. I had to wake him up because we were still driving. Luckily, the roads in Australia are really straight.
So straight. Although Nick occasionally would bump it to wake us up, which made me laugh.
No, that was the wind.
I think also he was falling asleep.
Of course he was.
That's fine.
Yeah.
He was there at 5:15 in the morning in the Uber home.
So obviously we drove up in the Hertz locker. You guys went off to Party House.
Yep. So we got an Airbnb with Smorgan, Lockie, Ollie was there. I'm blanking out. Who else was with us? Obviously like Nick and Danny.
Thursday night was just us, right?
Yeah, because the others were flying in and the airport was closed, and that was all sorts of drama for us to logistically understand what was happening with everyone. Because we were afraid for the tournament, because a lot of people usually choose to fly in on a Friday, and there was a fire at Canberra Airport, so all the flights got cancelled. So that was actually a genuine worry. Like, what's going to happen with the event? Are we just going to lose half of the attendance?
I think we just saw Sam Morgan's list, and they didn't want to play it, so they just set the airport on fire so he couldn't get in.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah,
That's
the airport
funny.
being on fire when we got there, because we drove through rain, right? Like coming up from Melbourne, and I was all prepped for Australia, Australia. And then from England, at 0 degrees, flying straight the way over. And I got here, it was pretty cold actually, raining. I was like, what the fuck? And they was like, where are these fires? Then we get to Canberra, and everyone's like, no, yeah, the airport's on fire, no one can make it. And I was like, oh shit. So some people miss their flights, but a lot of people got them changed up to the Friday. And if you guys might not be aware, and I wasn't aware until I got here, so I'm not trying to teach you suck eggs. Canberra's the capital city of Australia. It's halfway between Sydney and Melbourne, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people travel from those two large cities, or if they fly into those two large airports and then drive into Canberra, because the airport in Canberra is like $200 or £200, wherever you're from, more just to arrive in Canberra.
It's low flight volume, probably.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that's just an interesting side note, right? So 220 people, pretty cool. Friday, you guys just hung out and had a laugh. Is that right?
Yeah, we went really hard on Thursday for
I
no
felt-
real reason. It sort of just happened. All of a sudden, the Kiwis were in the house.
Oh yeah.
The house
boy.
came with a
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
a punch bowl.
Yeah.
So
Did
I
some
immediately
tingles?
made a fruit tingle. Joe's sort of deadpan humor and just the way that he delivers lines made for some interesting times when we were at the bottle shop. It's like,
For the Americans, that's the liquor store.
And for the English, that's the pub. We don't really have that convention, in the UK. Like,
Well, you could buy liquor and beer at a grocery store, right?
yeah. You guys have got I got to say, or maybe I say it at the end, but say it now. Friends we made along the way. No, but seriously, like one of the favorite things I've had talking to you guys and everyone over the weekend is sharing our local conventions and how they're very similar but slightly different. But yeah, we don't really have the concept of a bottle shop. We just go to the supermarket and just grab stuff. But you guys have dedicated, both countries, right? Just dedicated one place.
The U.S. is state to state. So, like, California and shit sells liquor in grocery stores, but in New York they don't. So.
Yeah, and then the same here, like Randy.
yeah. I mean, I think it sounds silly, but drinking culture in Australia, it is a pretty big thing. So maybe we just want to skip the lines at the supermarket. Just have a separate store. So it's like, no, I want to drink. I'm not waiting
But
for any.
beer's fucking expensive here. Holy shit!
Is
I bought that 6-pack of Furphy's I bought last night was $25. A 6-pack of fucking canned beer like that in the States is like $11.
$12.50 English.
Yeah, is that normal? I don't know. You don't drink, so we wouldn't know. Someone in it there, tell us.
Well, Mark Wildman in the chat actually saying, "Who's that fitty in the centre?"
What is a fitty?
Like a sexy man.
Mark Wildman, bro. Listen.
But then someone said, "Is he an Australian and does he hate me like all Australians?" Because Mark Wildman once gave Danborough the worst game of his life when Danborough went over to Australia, to England. Danborough went back to Australia and was like, "Look, this guy, fuck that guy, fuck Mark Wildman," and then all of Australia, yeah, fuck that guy. Randy, as an Australian, do you hate him?
Is it going to hurt his feelings if I'm not 100% sure who Mark Waldman is?
That's the best response.
I'm assuming that he's 5 years older than me because he's got 1983 in his name.
There you go. Clever.
Clever.
It's also an old man thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my email has 1988 in it. There's so many Joe Paganos out there. At Hotmail.
Right, okay, there we go. Friday I set up. That's what I did Friday. So that took me. I helped Clint move all the boards for Cancon. So that's a lot of boards.
Was that in your contractual obligations for getting flown
But
over?
I really like Clinto. I really wanted to help him out.
Yeah, going above and beyond for him.
Yeah, so I did that for 3 or 4 hours. Me and Clinto got a tradition. Friday morning, we go to this same Polish eatery somewhere in Canberra. We go have brekkie. Pretty cool. We did it last year, did it this year. I really enjoyed that. Even same table, whole thing. I was like, this is cool. We were joined by Chris Welfare and Shadowhammer. We all had breakfast together, which was cool. It was nice to see Chris as well, because Chris missed last year because of the birth of his son, which he decided not to do this year and instead miss his son's first birthday.
Yeah, sick.
An interesting reversal.
As a father, Joe, how do you feel about that?
My daughter was born pretty close to NashCon, and I was sweating it. But like, it looks like I'll never be able to go to Nova, So whatever. Sorry, Nova.
So be aware, if you do want to have a child, make sure you start trying 9 months.
Yeah, not 9 months before CanCon. Jacob Berry.
Yeah, so that's a cautionary tale of what not
That's
to
a
do.
cautionary tale for all budding
Fucking-
fathers out there.
Not only the plan you made with your best friend for like 3 years talking about it, just fuck it all up for one fucking sweet load release. I know you've been saving it up your whole life,
Get
but
out of it though. So
oh yeah, that's so awesome. Yo, shout out to Jacob Berry again, dude. New dad at home. He's probably at, I don't know what time it is in America, so I don't know what he's doing. He's probably at work, not working. He's about to get laid off.
Yeah, so I did that. Then I set up 9 hour setup, like I talked about before, 9.5 maybe, which long time. But the thing as we get into talk about Saturday Sunday, the thing that I wanted to do, because obviously you guys have seen the coverage now, and I hope when it worked, you were fairly impressed. But behind the scenes for months, a big shout out to Tom Wallace, Scrivens, and all the guys, and also Tom Layton, helping me out with loads of that. I wanted to like really fucking drop my dick on live streaming tournaments, right? I was like, we
Not onto the live stream, but just
Yeah,
onto
onto
live
it,
streaming.
no, like-
No, do it.
After-
I bet you'd get more followers if you were just showing your dick.
Yeah, if I shut my mouth and just get my dick out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I saw you wearing them tight underwear before, and I was like, wow, Rob is fucking packing some.
Yeah, but it's not as big as Scriver.
No, Scribble has a 12-inch dick.
Yeah, he's just rocking. Yeah.
He has a 12-inch dick.
What most people don't know is he does all of those caricatures and drawings
With his dick.
Yeah.
That's right, like, because you can see him while he's streaming. You can't really see what his hands are
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
It's
he's just like, I'm drawing. You're like, nah, bullshit. Your hand's like a claw. Anyway, so I was super hyped. So I was like doing everything. I was checking like every audio level, like pre-recording it, checking it back, checking it through mixers. I was like, I wanted the infield sound to be the same as the this sound, the whole business, right? Like make sure the camera like colors and profiles, and everything were just tight. So I was hype as fuck. I was like I came back like knackered.
Yeah, well,
like,
you were telling us like because you needed to compensate for a sound like of 220 people plus in this hall, you had your phone out playing YouTube and just like playing crowd noises really loud next to mics to like mimic it. Like that's attention to fucking detail. Like,
well,
that's-
yeah, like we need only look at every other fucking live stream and it's just like awful background noise, right? Like unless you're situated in a separate room. So you can compensate with that. You just got to put the work in to do it. Problem is when you're in the venue, setting up, there's no one there, and then the next day there's 500 people.
Well, at Cancon, it was nice. If you would have got started on the time you wanted, you would have had like trucks and forklifts running around through the building.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
they
you
were
guys
still
were all
doing
there
them-
to try and help me set up. Which I
Yeah,
appreciate.
do that massive, almost as big as Scribble's dick setup. You know.
Yeah. Anyway, but I was pretty hyped for going into Friday, and I got to meet loads of people at the Caratel, so which is cool. Obviously, Vince was there and all those guys, but I saw the Failed Charge guys, all of them now. So I saw Mick and all the guys. Big shout out to Dennis. So Dennis is one of the TOs over the weekend, and possibly one of the happiest dudes.
He's lovely.
The man just smiles his way through everything. So the ginger beard guy.
Yeah, with the big beard.
Yeah.
I just saw him not happy at the end of the tournament.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah. I can't share it, but
Okay.
I want to, but I think they told me not to. But I was kind of drunk, so.
Yeah. So that was really rad, and I got to see all I got to see all my favourite people. Got to catch up with Gabe, which I'm excited about. Horace in the chat there. We're going to be going up to Brisbane for BrisCon. So
An event
really,
you'll actually get to play at too, Rob.
yeah, really excited about that, especially with all the Aussies and stuff. Yeah. So that's gonna be cool. And there were just loads of dudettes there. We were just hanging. Had a great time. Like it was real fun. But I was pretty knackered, pretty bushed. And then Saturday, but because then we've been setting up this for a while, right? Well, you guys have been setting this up for a while.
How
We
many
did our
months
first stream.
in advance was it? You reckon?
Well, let's go back. Let's go
Can I
back.
just tell you actually about one moment? Because also all of the reveals came out from LVO on the Friday, but I was doing
Yeah, boy.
setup. Right, I was doing setup while it was happening. I don't know where you guys were, but what was funny is watching everyone who was doing setup. They were doing scenery, they were doing tables, and then
We had to go to the Tasman Cup.
right,
That's where
okay,
we
it was
were.
happening at the Tasman Cup as well, right?
Yeah.
Just everyone just stopped play. Phones are coming out. A dude was helping Gaffer tape some stuff down with me, and I'm sorry I've forgotten your name, but big love to you for helping me and your girlfriend for helping me with all that. You guys are amazing, and I'm sorry that I'm obviously a dickhead. But not a scab, so that's good. And
Organized now.
and then what was funny was he was like he was doing like a table set, like helping move the camera around. So I had like a little monitor with him, right, that he was using through a camera, and then he was like underneath the table so he could do nothing. And then DJ just held up the phone to the camera. He's like, oh, the elves are sick. And he's like, bro, show me. And he's just like holding it up to the camera. And the guy's like gaffing it down, like looking at it, and he's like, oh my god, that's so cool. It was good. Oh, do you not like the Techless model?
I don't remember what my reaction to it was at this point. Is it not? Maybe it's not this Joe. Maybe it's a different Joe he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's a very, very common name. I know you've never heard anyone met another Joe besides me, but there are people out there.
Average Joe?
I'm not average. I'm below average. It's only 3.2 inches. Same. Yeah. Nice.
Same. So then Friday night, what did you guys do?
We were relatively quiet. We just hung out.
Smorgan got in town. We were with Swoley. We were all super hungover all day.
We ordered pizza that Joe was very disappointed in.
Oh yeah, we ate crust, and all the time I listen to Dwellers Cast, they would be like, "Oh, we're gonna get some crust. It's so good." So I was like, maybe pizza outside of New York might be good, and then I was like, it's just average.
Yeah, but like
it's chain pizza. It's good. It was good. I'm not
like
you guys gonna carry on
fancy Domino's. So
yeah.
Could have been better, I think, is the main point.
So yeah, Friday night was a little bit chill because we were all so burnt out. And Danny did like that 12-hour painting class with Vince.
Yeah.
And then, he was like, that was a waste of money. He didn't teach me anything I didn't already know. I'm the best. That was Danny's reaction.
Yeah. Although apparently Vince said that Danny didn't have things to learn.
Vince shat all over Danny.
Oh my God.
Vince murdered Danny. That was so funny.
I think it was really
Pixar, hi, thanks for subscribing. One of my favorite things about the weekend is people getting to know Vince. Like,
Oh yeah.
like I'm a long time Vince fan, and we've talked quite a bit. And man, like, he does what I can't do, like, or more importantly, what I don't want to do. I think there's the distinction. What I don't want to do is really temper who I am as a person. Like,
he has some darkness behind those eyes.
loads,
Some real depraved.
yeah, some dark. Like, but he's also he presents himself professionally. Like, he is as kind and as funny as you would want someone to be. Like, someone you look up to, because he's someone I look up to. But then he like when he gets down, because the other end is probably me and you, Joe, where we're just out and out who we are out in the world.
Yeah, I've never been able to control it. I can't be professional. I just gotta always be the way I am.
Same. Like, I was telling you guys this last night. I spent a long time being a nightclub promoter, and being customer service, glad handing people, being fake. Not saying anyone's being fake. Yeah, just saying like there's a difference between being professional and being fake. But I just don't want to live my life for like that for a moment. I haven't got the time. I don't want to do it. So, but Vince is the opposite. He's like upfront, but when you get behind the scenes, you're like, oh, painting nomination, get your ass licked. That's big.
It's not a nom. The award.
Oh, the award.
Yeah,
it's not enough to be
So
nominated.
do you want to tell people about this?
So on the Dwellers Cast, the mega cast, you might hear a question be asked of Vince, or maybe a situation brought up. Is that every time Vince wins a painting award, he gets his ass eaten. He gets home. We talked about it on our show too, but he confirmed it now.
Yeah, he confirmed
He
it.
confirmed it. That's what motivates him to be such a great painter. So, fellas, get your ladies to eat your ass, and you will have some of the most beautifully painted models in your life. Just slam, you know what I mean? Like, what you got to do is get a little nair. No, you want to get nair on your asshole. You want to nair your cheeks, and then you want to get a nice, soft wax, and just pull that off, bro, and just let her go to town. And you know what? Try some new stuff. Let her peg you. Maybe you'll win a Slayer sword if you're just getting banged out by your wife.
Those crazy Kiwis.
Yeah. You want to bleach that asshole, Horace 88. 86 or 88, I can't see it. I don't have my glasses. So
hey, Rob Kelly, thanks for subscribing. Pick the best time to get home from work. It seems this has gone. It's not gone homophobic.
It's not homophobic.
Also, FYI, and this is in no way relatable, but Mark Wildman, a very gay man, obviously has lots of attention. He likes paint to his bumhole. Like, also phenomenal painter. I'm not saying there's a correlation.
Oh no. Oh, that's why. I'm sorry, Mark. I'm sorry, bud.
He gets
I'm
more
sorry.
out of winning.
I was just thinking about
than your average Vince Venturella.
I mean,
Right?
Anyway, moving on. And if everyone's still here, or if you listen to the podcast, whatever. So into Saturday, you guys had prepped this for a while. Randy, like, walk me through this, because, like, obviously you're in Tasmania. That's like you were telling us that you quite an underpopulated area compared to Joe from New York, right? With like 8 million people. Yeah, like it's very different.
We probably have the same number of people to play Warhammer with.
Yeah, so you're not like in that like big.
Oh, look who's in the chat, Magro.
Polo, what up? And also, can we just talk about this? Because this is the shout out. I want to talk about this later. But Chris Jr. in the chat, right? Chris Jr. came second recently at the Warhammer World Heat Finals. He's 16 years old. The man's got mad skills. I was over in Northern Ireland recently playing Warhammer, the Exploding Dice venue, which is wicked. You should go to it if you're ever in Northern Ireland. And I managed to play Chris Caves' dad. They go to events together, but Chris Cave Sr. is already tearing up. This is before the News Each book. He's tearing up with Iron Jaws. He's tearing it up with Chain Jaws. People are like, oh, fuck playing Little Chris, because that's what everyone calls him, Little Chris. Like, fuck playing Little Chris. That's just gonna suck. And he just batters you. Then he went to the Heats last year. Came second, but lost on soft scores. It's a bit crappy because like he's 16. Do you know what I mean? He's playing his game. He's playing an intensely tough army with Change Host. Yeah. And then he just came back from like an X-Wing tournament as well, where he came like 100th in the world or something. Kid's got skills.
Gaming savant.
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
But then he went to Warhammer World this weekend and he smashed it with Zinch. Yeah, took them all out. On the stream game 5, like made his opponent like just roll priority turn 2. So this is JP. And it was just like, the opponent was like, nah. His opponent, like, Little Chris won. JP's like, nah, I'm all right. I ain't taking that second turn. You got the game.
Holy shiza.
So round 5, just put him out.
Give him another 3 years. Imagine what he's going to be doing in the tournament scene then.
I think I'll probably drop out until he's like 25, like almost everyone else does.
We're good. We're good. We only got 2 more years to deal with him.
Yeah. He turns
He's
18.
got drinking and girls.
Yeah, drinking and girls.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll pick up a hobby like where you get like, I don't know, music. That's what I did. And so you'll be out of this shit until you're like 25.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So Little Chris, 2 years. I'm scared of you. In 2 years' time, though.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
We're gonna, you know what? When he turns 18, we should take him to like the strippers, just all the debaucherous shit we can. Be like, find a new hobby. Go, just go.
Get out.
You'll love this. Trust me.
Chris Cave Senior, if you are listening to this,
All boys. All boys. Sorry, Mark. I'm so sorry, bud.
Yeah, all boys. Yeah. Sorry, or not. Like maybe like
the male strip clubs I heard are lit.
Are they?
I heard they're more off, like more insane than the strip clubs for that females work at. Like I heard that like there's like no touching rules. Like I've heard it's insane. So I knew a dude who did male stripping. And he said it was absolutely fucking nuts.
What, debauched?
Like yeah, he said like getting molested.
Jesus Christ.
Just like he's like I used to just like eat a fistful of Viagra and just go get up there and fucking dance. He's like you can't really care who's down there. I was like, wow, he made more money than I did. He didn't kill it, dude.
And he chose to do it. Like he's not being forced, but still.
So
that's
apparently
pretty strong.
Morgan is stuck in the foyer. Do you reckon that means he's downstairs and can't get up?
I'm stuck in the foyer, lol.
Oh, what's the foyer?
The foyer is the entrance to the hotel.
They won't let him in?
No,
Yeah.
he needs a tap card to actually get up to the floors, remember?
Oh, all right, I'll go get him.
Okay. We need another chair as well, maybe.
No, you can sit on Joe's lap.
Yeah, dear. All right. Well, we have. I'm ready. Answer this question.
It's on the table, Joe.
This is
fantastic stream material.
I actually quite like this. Streaming IRL. Randy, tell me, like I was saying, small town, provincial, yeah, and then you're giving smack talk to a pretty large character over. Like, what? Tell me about it.
Yeah, he's also just like really lovable, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got heart gold. Yeah.
So so I mean, I guess what it all sort of came up with, he's traveling from the US. At the time, Jacob was going to be following him along as well. So 2 people traveling from the other side of the world, basically, to come and play. What better opportunity to call someone out and just be like, let's have a grudge. We we made this chat when we realized Rob's coming down and the Rage of Sigmar guys are coming down. So we had this bit of a group chat where we were like, well, we'll just talk about it. It was initially meant to be for logistics, so we could figure out who's flying in when, what are we going to do, and then it's just turned into this meme factory where Jacob posts about how much he misses us and that he'd like to be here. So it's a good outlet for Jacob. But
which he needs.
He does.
Yeah,
he
he
desperately needs
If your
it.
brain is only processing jokes 100% of the time at 32 jokes a minute, you need an outlet for that. Otherwise, you also need input as well.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
he needs constant input.
So we were doing.
Oh, hold on. Just big shout out to Jimmy 1080. Met you this weekend, and it was a fucking pleasure, by the way. He's got thick, lustrous black hair, but a very nice man. He's been talking to me a long time on here.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those things sometimes people don't get, especially back home. I was telling you this the other day. Like, when I'm streaming or in my studio, super alone. Like, you were telling me about work. It sounded like you know, like what you do for work, but you've got a great team who you love working with, and you had like a big smile on your face. It was real sweet. Like, you enjoy where you are. I would like work on my own.
Yeah.
In a room. So when I do talk online or streaming on my own or with these guys, like when Jimmy pops up or any other guys in the chat and chat to me, like I feel like we talk a lot.
Yeah.
So I met Jimmy this weekend. I met a couple of other guys as well, and I was just like,
Yeah, you could put like a face and everything to this connection that you've built with someone.
yeah. And I feel like I've really connected with them in some places. T Glasson, thanks for subscribing. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
I don't remember. Where was that?
You were.
Oh, that's right. I called Joe out because I thought, like, between Jacob and him, I was just like, oh, Joe just gets really drunk at tournaments. He'll be really easy. And that's kind of where it started. And then it kind of blew up from there. Like, Joe and I were just talking about it. We're like, oh, it'd be cool. We should, like, add some stakes to the grudge, something like that. And for whatever, honestly, I reckon ask Joe, and he'll probably not remember either. I don't remember how we got onto like let's dress up like wrestlers or turning it into like a grudge match thing. But then as soon as he sort of took it to that next level, dressed up like Hulk Hogan at NashCon, when he was helping you guys out with the coverage, just called me out. I was like, right, okay, this is it. Like, you're not gonna one up me on this. If there's anything I can do from the bumfuck middle of nowhere, it's get dressed up all pretty and talk smack through a camera. Like, that's fine. I could definitely do this. So for those of you that watched the stream, you would have seen like cape, shiny gold pants. I received a lot of compliments for those pants. Actually,
Did you actually?
I think that's joining my normal routine.
That's Friday.
It's
Friday smart casual.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be like my pharaoh hat and my bright gold shiny pants. Like, they were also like, they're tight but comfortable.
Okay. Yeah, they look comfortable.
Yeah, they were.
They look comfortable.
They're good. I didn't try a power stance, so opportunity missed, but maybe next time. But yeah, we made a belt. We started deciding like, hey, this is an opportunity for us to make something. Have you got anything? We're joined by absolute royalty. Royalty.
We're joined by someone who's got over 18 Twitter accounts.
Yes, and his face is on the center of the belt.
Yeah, it is. That's a good point. Maybe show the belt off. If we could, if we could. We'll sort that out in a minute. Keep going.
Yeah, so we decided let's make this belt up. We came up with some rules for it. So all the little plaques on it are like the Honest Wargamer, the Dwellers Below, Reg Sigmar, and then I was just like, oh, you know what? I'm not a podcast. And Joe's like, just fuck it, get a logo. We'll chuck your name on the belt. So it's just turned into this wonderful thing where
Just finding things that are for mine all over the hotel.
Wait, what's that you got there? You just talk about it. What is that?
It's just a little thing I won that Brendan Melnick doesn't have, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. So I'm going to just take the best terrain placard off and put best overall. And then maybe I'll get my ass eaten.
It's just for a painted award?
Oh, no, maybe I could trade Danny just for a weekend, you know?
Oh, thank you very much.
So just welcome into the room. Who is this man? I don't know if anyone...
Can I introduce you?
Seen you on live stream? Yeah,
This is the man. This is the myth, the legend. This is Thirsty Smorgan. Well, we didn't even know he existed in the United States. So he's here now. He's ascended to God level. You went Super Saiyan on Saturday night. I never thought I would see the level of thirst. You were quenching that thirst. Or how are you feeling on this wonderful Tuesday morning after returning to your family?
I've got cold sweats. I've slept on and off the last 48 hours. It's been good.
Back on the plants?
No, I'm having an Irish coffee, actually. 2 parts vodka, 1 part coffee, so I'm doing really well.
Are you weeding yourself off it at this stage?
Yeah, that's right. It's one day at a time. What an amazing weekend. Are we talking Cancon?
Yeah, we were talking. So we just got up to Friday, and Randy. I was talking about Randy being from bumfuck nowhere, basically,
Yep.
and what it felt like
The main
smack
export
talking
is
someone.
potatoes.
Yeah, smack talking someone from like a city with a population of 9 million, like and what that was like, and how fun it was. He was talking about the belt. That's where we're at.
There are more crack addicts in New York than there are people in Davenport.
Oh yeah,
That's a good stat. That's a good stat.
100%.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
But yeah, it grew into this ridiculous grudge match where we're posting hype videos. I mean, I'm asking Rob, and Rob was an absolute gentleman. Like the last video, I was just like, I've scribbled, done up a logo. Rob, can you like help me out with some video editing? It's not something I know how to do. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Like I think more than anything, the lead up, like we were doing Cancon 6 months before we were at Cancon.
Yeah, my favourite bit actually, which Smokes I don't think you actually heard yet, right, is Budtastic Guy, right, made the best intro.
Oh, that was awesome.
On like I'll play it for you later, but it's unreal, which we're going to use for the edit video now because like there was no way to plug it in because we got like a live walk-in video with you
It's
guys.
probably not safe for work either. And TSN's all about the.
Oh no, it was.
That was
Like,
clean.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
clean.
He did a
Nice.
great job.
It
Yeah.
actually sounded like a wrestling announcer and everything.
One of them will eat a dick.
Yo, is that Bruce Hammer 13? Is that Rick Mayo?
It is Rick
Sup,
Mayo.
Bruce? Sup, Bruce? Took it home for the Bruces all day.
5-1.
Yeah, only because I gave it to you, right?
5-1. I just want to. One of the things actually that's come up. I might as well address it now, real quick, if you don't mind. Came up this weekend. Is obviously we live streamed, and so I've been working so hard at putting it all together that I didn't get the opportunity really to make some quality videos to explain what it is going on this year with the live coverage on Wargamer and the T Sports Network, right? So obviously we just went live on the T Sports Network, and a whole bunch of people were like, where the fuck's the coverage going on the Wargamer page? So number one, huge apology. That's my fuck up. Like, I also not really my fuck up because I kind of didn't do it on purpose. I wanted to softball it because I was a little bit on like I was just telling you guys. Friday night I went in there. I was like, fucking Popper's home. I'm gonna big dick this. This is gonna be wicked. But until then, before I landed, until I plugged everything in, even though I did it at home, I was 100% confident it was all gonna like pan out, if that makes sense. So I softballed it a little bit. But yeah, like I've decided to create a sister brand to the Honest Wargamer, or more importantly, do professional coverage on the T Sports Network. And you guys are all professionals, and I'm sure a bunch of you guys go home.
So Rob says professional coverage, and then for the first match of his first professional stream, he puts two fucking idiots on it.
Yeah, but that was good. You had walk-in music.
One idiot. You know how to make cheese.
That's true.
So yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just lean on my list. That's it. Lean on it real hard.
I've decided to split that up. Smogs, I know you're pretty savvy when it comes to like all things. Like, do you think it's a good decision to put like the coverage, especially in a professional setting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minimize risk. Disaggregate.
Don't know
what it means is that you can. What it means. So what this means is that you can be a real dickhead under the Honest Wargamer brand and have a separate professional brand that's TSN, and it also means you can like have local TSNs popping up. Do you know what I mean? You can have your New Zealand wing, your Australian wing, your American, whatever it means. You can be all over the world.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Mr.
Whereas you
Worldwide.
are the Honest Wargamer, whether or not you wanted to be to begin with. So I think you wanted that to be a brand, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
actually, you just took ownership of it.
Yeah, I wanted that to just be a brand, like, and everyone's an Honest
But
Wargamer.
people think you're the Honest Wargamer.
Yeah, maybe. Like, but no, because Nathan, like Nathan today, like, obviously I've called some shit on Twitter, right? But Nathan today, like, dropped me a message, like, look, man, that's not a good advert for the game as is. He's like, I don't disagree with, like, he says, he didn't say that, so I'm speaking for him, so that's wrong. But he was like, it's not a good advert. Like, be aware of that. And I was like, that's the only criticism I've seen that I give a fuck about so far, because it's coming from someone who, and I'm surrounded by people who will just tell me what they fucking think, which I think I like that honesty. Some people don't need that. So I've put the Honest Wargamer is me, Jim 1080 sitting in the chat, LOV you guys. Like, that's going to be my show. Like, all the people who I love, the 40k guys, we're going to rock that in this, like, that's going to be our field. If you don't like what we say, cool. But T-Sports Network, professional, smart, sensible, like, other people under that brand. Like, this weekend we had, like, you guys, we had, like, Vince, we had a whole bunch of people who do, like, really serious stuff.
I know someone that's in marketing that might be able to help you promote it.
Oh yeah, who is it?
Magro.
Polo! Anyway, so I've decided to separate them out. That's it. That's the long story short.
So, someone asked if the TSN is under the Radio Sigmar podcast network. We're not looking to absorb that part. It's not podcasting. It's not like media supplying. It's more like journalism, and like sports journalism is how I view it. And I think that if Rob makes it big on that, maybe he could give me a job as like their main HVAC.
You would be
like,
the best
their
intro hype
maintenance-
man I would think I could ever think
I
of.
thought I was just hoping you'd give me a maintenance job for your servers. Make sure everything's running good, like 9 to 5. I could do night shifts, you could just pay me my union rate. That'd be cool. I'd be cool with that.
Anyway, I tell Robbie shit all the time, says LLV. He does all the time. He actually has got he tracks it stats wise. So you guys went into the match. How do you feel about the match?
I feel like Randy was beating me really hard, and then he had a critical fucking priority, and he was like, I'm going to take it. And I was like, reverse psychology, now. And I was like, you sure you want to do that? And he was like, no, I'll give it to you, and then I won.
Yeah, so, like, here's the thing. I mean, no, and like, Morgan's laughing, but that's 100% right. Like, I think up until that point, I was playing my game, and I was doing what I wanted to do, and I was doing what I thought I needed to do to at the very least, because I thought I was losing. Like, that's how I felt when I was watching that game.
Yeah,
I was
you were
like,
winning.
he's kicking my ass. I am well behind on points. I'm not a really great gamer. At least I don't think I'm a great gamer.
I think
You don't play anywhere apart from
the
tournaments.
The one thing I wanted to say that I learned from talking to people in the community that I'm friends with, and shout out to Darren Watson, but Darren Watson was like, you need to go in there and be like, convince yourself, I'm going to win this fucking tournament. And I came to Cancon with that approach. I knew my list was not going to be like a top tier medalist. Like there was Zinch, there was OBR, all this shit. And I fucking brought my feck, and I was like, fuck that. I'm going to win Cancon. I went 5-1. I beat Petrofex Elite with fucking Nagash in the list. I like kept confident, and I didn't let a bloody nose beat me.
Yeah.
And then I find like a lot of players who are good. Randy, I think you're an excellent player, but like you beat yourself more than your opponent beat you.
Yeah, so look, I didn't think I was going to necessarily lose to you, but what the mentality I had going into that game was I was going to make you earn it. I wasn't just going to give you the belt. You were going to have to earn it from me. And then I did. I did end up giving it to you. But like, and I think that's the biggest lesson I learned from that game, because regardless of how good a player you are, and like Smorgan's like a good player, for example, but every time you play a game, you learn something.
I know, he went to a 6-game tournament and he didn't even play 6 games. It was amazing. You're like
It's 2 used to 5 games.
You got too thirsty. Your thirst was real.
Smorgan, can we get a recap of just your entire weekend? How was it? What
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to play 8 games for the weekend. I had 2 games lined up on the Friday, missed both of them, and 6 games over the weekend. Played 5. I've done pretty well.
But still the best time.
I had an awesome time, man. I, in the lead up to Cancon, was playing heaps and heaps of Cities of Sigma. I think, and we saw with, was it Simon on the top table?
Simon Hall, yeah.
There are builds in that book that it's a super flexible book, and it can adapt as new books come out. So I think that's one that's going to be able to keep up with the meta as it evolves. And I was playing Tempest's Eye with a teleporting unit of 30 Iron Drakes that were doing 60 shots, Ren 3, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, rerolling all 1s.
Wow.
So rerolling 1s to hit and to wound. So if I cast my spell, which is the bridge, I automatically win the game in most matchups. And because there's lots of cheap, durable bodies in Tempest Eye, because you get that +1 armor save in the first turn, you can effectively screen and take an alpha.
Yeah.
And the list was incredible. It was so little fun to play. It was an awful play experience
for your opponent,
for my opponent every single time. And there were games where I opted not to cast the bridge and just run at them and see how it went. They were about 50-50, but they were still awful because if my trick works, they're just removing models, which I think is probably the same experience Zench players have, but they spread it across 2 phases. And rather than having to cast the bridge, they automatically teleport.
Yeah.
And then rather than have to roll the dice, they choose Destiny dice. So I got to a point where I was like, fuck, this list is really good, but is that the type of thing I want to do for the weekend? Do I want to play full 2-hour 45 games?
Because how long have you been playing Warhammer for?
Oh, like forever. And I've been playing AOS since like, I don't know, the back end of AOS 1.
Yeah.
But probably this was my 7th Cancon.
Right, okay. Because I think that puts it into context a little bit. Because like especially when you want to have fun or you're approaching it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Like so I do this for work.
Yep.
So like I went over to Northern Ireland recently. I could have taken anything, right? But one of the big things for me is I want to have fun and I want to engage with my opponent. So I took janky list. I've got hell pits that come back to life. I've got doom wheels that move random
love
movement. Like it's fun. Like I wish there was more. Like there's very few actual instances of that, so it's hard to create. But that back and forth, that interaction, I actually think that you and your opponent have more fun. And 2.5 hours is a long time to spend with a dude.
Absolutely.
A long time.
And if you're absorbed in the game and you're both having fun, because like that's one thing about round one against Joe. I was trying to play my best, but like the whole game was so fun for me, right? And when we sort of looked at the clock and we went, we have 10 minutes left. What?
Yep.
It went really fast. It was like, when time flies and you're having fun, right? It was
Yeah.
like, it was like we didn't even play a game because it was just like bam, 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 and it was like, oh fuck, the round's over. We're in turn 4, right?
Yeah.
To 4, and it was all right. This is gonna be it. We're not gonna be able to play a 5, and that was it. It was a great game.
Yeah, so my point is though is with that deep level of experience that you've had, at high end competitive level as well, you decided like I think what you're about to say is that it being
I pivoted.
Yeah.
So Smorgan just wanted to play Gotrek because he really likes the model.
Yeah. So explain to me your thought process.
So I was like, this isn't fun for me. It's not particularly fun for my opponent. The last time I drank was 2016. That's 4 years ago now. That's the last time I had alcohol. And then I knew that Joe was a horrible influence, albeit a wholesome one. And I thought, if I'm just going away for a boys' weekend, I'm going to have as much fun as I can on and off the table. Do you know what I mean? Why have different experiences? So I looked at a list that really honed in on having super durable, super hitty characters. So I went with the Stardrake with Ethereal Amulet and a 6-up, what do you call them? Feel No Pain. DPR.
Damage prevention roll.
I went with Gotrek and I went with Marathi. And then with the remaining points, I took a Skink Starseer that gives +1 to a roll per phase. So that means you can get Gotrek on a 2-up ward or running 7 or charging 13 or whatever it might be. Means Marathi's Stare can kill 6 wound characters if you hit the 6. Means the Dragon, when he's doing his bite, if you get the +1s, that's obviously really good. And then my strategy for every game, regardless of my opponent or the scenario, was push all 3 of those as far forward as possible and kill as much fucking shit as I can.
Can I just say that I saw you maybe game 1 or game 2, and your face was joyous.
Yeah.
You were just like, Gotrek, man. He's like, this is the most fun I've ever had.
He was a baller.
So what sound did you hear in your head? As Gotrek?
It's the hammer from Smash Bros. Like you pick that hammer up and anyone that comes near, and their face just hits the front of the screen. So that was, it was fucking awesome. Like there was a game where there's this objective out on the right flank and my opponent gets the measuring tape out and they're doing this thing on all weird angles. I'm like, you know you're out of 6. I'm like, yeah, because I'm going to go fucking kill those dudes. Like, I don't care about the gold. So that was cool. And like maybe the cool thing is maybe next tournament I do just take a really strong on meta list and try and win, or maybe I just take whatever the fuck I want. And it's a really liberating place to be.
Yeah, like I
That's
find
great.
that like it's one of the things I have with work, with everything I do for the hobby. I feel sometimes some pressure to perform. Like, but I had to ask myself that really early on. I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to chase it and gun for it, or am I going to just enjoy myself? And I was like, I was going to enjoy myself because it's still my hobby as well, technically, and it's fun. And also having engaging games with your opponent. Like, it's a long time to spend with someone, 2.5 hours to give them an awful time.
Yeah.
Like, and it's fine if you want to. Like,
Oh yeah, all power. If someone wants to win the tournament, fucking go nuts, man, and enjoy yourself.
Agreed.
Lean into it.
I agree. Like, 100%. Randy, how did that match end up? Oh no, it's Smoggy. You're telling me about the weekend. Sorry, I'm
You're
not
right,
as good
man.
as Nick Cohen about this. Tell me more about your weekend.
You're a lot more like approachable or like human. He's a bit robotic and German. You know what I mean?
German
Like-
power, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
Tell
sure you
me
can say
about
German
your
power
weekend.
online.
No, not like that. No, fucking hell.
I thought you said German powered.
He's actually
Like he's
Austrian,
a Volkswagen brand
which
or
is what
something.
another famous German claimed. So he basically.
It's 2 minutes of good content.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. So day 1, I got to play Tim from Aussie Wargamer, and he had those fucking sick
Yes.
orcs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They were the
Amazing.
coolest.
Mixed
Dude.
destruction pirates.
And so we set up, And then when I'm in my deployment zone, he removes the objective from my deployment zone and just plonks a massive wad of gold on the table. He says, my pirates are coming for that gold. I'm like, hell yes, I'm so into this. This is great. So he set up his monsters directly opposite Gotrek. And that was basically all we played for. Those guys were just duking it out. Gotrek didn't take a wound and killed three of his behemoths. So it was sick. And then that meant that I got a 20, so it meant that I was up on the top tables. And I looked at the lists that were around me. So the one directly below me was 4 turtles.
Amazing.
And I was semi. I was on the way to getting aroused. And regrettably, I just missed it and I copped Ash. So Ash is one of my mates. He's an awesome dude. His list was fucking janky as anything. He was playing
Good list, good
in
player.
inverted commas friendly Zench,
Top tables.
which is just like he works at GW. That's just GW marketing. There's nothing friendly about it. He was friendly, but the list is awful. The ability to manipulate Destiny dice and to regenerate Destiny dice is so cooked.
Especially with the ruling at Cancon, which apparently is the
It's
official
the legit ruling apparently. Yeah.
apparently, so that the Destiny dice can't be affected by modifiers.
Yeah.
End of, which means you can auto pass battle shock tests. You're effectively ethereal in the right setups.
Yep.
It's bonkers.
Yeah, so they only need 1 dice left at any stage to be auto battle shock immune, which means I think units of 40 Chaos Marauders as your core could be really, really good.
Yeah, because you can spend the CP. A lot of the stuff we saw over the weekend was obviously +1 to cast on Lord Change, but also rerolls hits on the Fate Master.
Yeah.
And so they're CP dependent, and to push them up to the next level, whether or not you want to do casting or both. So they want that CP, not to auto pass battle shock. So. And horrors are genuinely susceptible to battle shock now.
Yeah.
That's a great tactic. You look 10 ping horrors, you think that's actually obnoxious to deal with, and it's like, no, actually, don't worry about it. I can just pass it with a 3 in Destiny Dice Pool.
Yep. So that was rough. Ash was an awesome bloke, fortunately. Otherwise, imagine playing an arsehole with Zench. That just sounds like just a horrible time. And then in the third round, who did I play? I don't know, I played someone. It was fun. And that was, day 1 done and dusted, and I was 0-2. I was pretty happy about it. No, 1-2. I was pretty happy about it.
Joe, do you want to give us a recap for your day?
For day 1?
Yeah.
Played Randy. We talked about that. It was great. Round 2.
Wait, but who won?
No, I won, of course. Is there ever going to be any other outcome?
Yes, the one that should have happened, which is me not giving you the turn.
I just relied on you being susceptible to my mind games, and it worked. Round 2, I played a dude, and I'm having a hard time remembering because Saturday night was so insane. But, I played a guy named Deke. He was playing Legions. He had the nicest terrain there, but he did not win this sweet trophy that I have at my feet. He was running some Harbingers. He had Ethereal Amulet, Zombie Dragon, 10 Wolves, 5 Wolves, 40 Chain Ras, a Lender, and Lord Executioner, Necromancer, another Nighthaunt character. Yeah, but he just... So the pivotal part of the game was that he didn't screen his Ethereal Amulet.
I heard online screening is super important, especially stopping Zinj.
Yeah.
Yep.
Make your list 5%.
Deep deployment,
better.
18 inches.
If Zeke made his list 5% better against Feck, he would have beat me. But that 5% margin just destroyed him. No, so he made a silly mistake. He just didn't. He put his base 2 inches from the front of the Direwolf. So I just super buffed my Terrorgeist, jammed that fucker at the Ethereal Amulet General, and killed him with the Terrorgeist, with the bite attacks and shit. Massive amount of mortal wounds he couldn't stop, and then giggled as he couldn't bring any of his units back, and I just killed everything else. So it was.
I just remember my third opponent. He was Cam.
That's good. I'm glad you're not thinking about anything I'm saying. It's like being with my wife. It's amazing. I can just stay here and be with you. Oh, man. So, I was really...
I also won't have sex with you.
It'll be just like home. At least you won't be mad when I want to play Warhammer. He was cool. Deke was a nice guy. And then round 3, I played Jesse Perkins, who was awesome. Yeah, I love Jesse. We had a lot of dry talk shit, sarcastic humor with each other. He was also playing Feck, so I actually really enjoy a mirror match against Feck. At first, I hated mirror matches, and I talked to Rob for a long period of time about how great mirror matches are, and I started to change my perspective on it. So I really enjoyed it. And he was running a list very similar to mine, but he was just like, oh, this unit's Battle Shock immune. And I was just like, okay, I'll just kill it all in one turn. And I did. And then the core of his army was kind of hollowed out, and I popped the Terrorgeist off him, and then he popped both my big monsters with his, and it was like super cagey, and like so I ended up taking the minor off of him by like only like 100 points. So
That was Blood and Glory, right? The scenario round 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blood and
And
Glory.
there was
Which I love being at an event, by the way, as opposed to Knife to Heart. Just a little side note, but
way better than Knife to Heart.
Yeah.
There was a point of contention in your game about how Feck actually works, fundamentally, how the double pile-in works.
yeah, it didn't actually come into play in our game, but he mentioned it, and I had mentioned that I had played a guy in the States who was adamant about a single model base. It doesn't need to actually be wholly within, like the whole base doesn't. It just, if it's one model and that one, you're clipping like your 18-inch wholly within bubble for something, that the whole model gets it, right? So I had said some fucking dude that I played at a tournament in Philadelphia was like adamant about this because he was just clipping his. Anyway, short story long, he's like, no, that's not how it works. I'm like, okay, well that's good because I don't like it working like that. I think that's stupid. So then he's like, he was like, I'm thinking I might go back and fight again with this guy. And I was like, you have to do that immediately. You already activated somewhere else. You can't do that. He's like, no. I've had TOs say that that's how it works. And I was like, that's really wrong. And then Mike from Fail Charge was right there, like because he was
who by the way,
awesome
he
dude.
won.
What a legend!
Legend, absolute legend. He also, just to put it in context, won one of the AOS Championship heats with Feck, and then Gemma, his partner, also then won another event with Feck. So if there's anyone to make a call in on Feck, that's a good person.
He was like, that's absolutely wrong. So, which I'm glad, because I would have been upset at myself for other times when it's always like, it's so much better to maybe put that on the back burner. You go, oh, I could activate somewhere else or do something else. And if I really need to, I can spend that command point somewhere else. Because when you're making your charges playing Feck with your big baddies and you're like command point starved, especially if you're not playing Feast Day, which is what I play, but you can't make 2 charges where you might need to go twice, because if you only have 1 command point, you can't. It's too much of a gamble because you lose one of those big monsters. It's almost 500 points of your army, and they're really a linchpin. They're super strong. They have good spells, so to be able to go back and just like, oh, now I'm gonna go back and I'll kill this unit here because I'm seeing how things are going over there, and if I pull the double turn or whatever it is, it's so much better. Like
Closer to the mic, Joe.
Oh, it's just so much better like that for that. So I'm glad it's not that way because I would have been mad at myself for all the other times I played.
You might want to consider taking the Ragged Cloak to make your army 6% better against Zinch.
What about the Griff Feather Charm? You thought about that?
It's already in there.
It's already in there. A whole sick. What's the Ragged Cloak?
1 shooting phase per game, can't be shot. Plonk him in the middle of the table, say, come at me. He can be your screen, and then they can't shoot him.
Yeah.
They'll just mortal wound him off in the hero phase instead.
Shit. Or lock him in combat with like 120 wounds. Yeah. Sorry, where were we?
So I was just wrapping
I wish
up.
Nick
I
Holmes
had
was here.
a great game against Jesse Perkins. All the dudes that I met a lot of people who knew who I was that I didn't know who they were. That was kind of interesting. It's like the first, not the first time, but like the first time it was a quantity of people, like a good 15. Because I've never, like, usually go to a tournament in the States and like I interact with 1 or 2 new people per tournament, But this one I've interacted with all new people and have like a percentage of the population that seemed larger than I ever expected to be like, hey, dude, like the podcast, like that. This is sick. Aussies are cool as fuck. And like, from my outside experience and seeing how people are on the internet.
Just saying, hold it closer.
Oh, sorry.
It was a real issue at one point. Also, apparently, Jonathan's just said hi. My friend Jonathan from Sweden said,
Oh.
look, 4 little bitches in a room. I was like, wow, Jonathan. You were saying yesterday you liked him. Please continue with your point.
Anyway, I was going to say, from what I saw on the internet and the way things went on around Masters, around Facebook, I was not really super stoked to come to Australia anymore. I was like, if I have to deal with one of these dudes, we're going to be fighting. You know what I mean? Because those guys were fucking assholes.
Who?
All the dudes who got on Facebook and ragged on you and Nick over you having the dogs in your fucking list and shit. It just was a total cunt move. And I was not stoked to come to Australia. And then I came, and the population that I dealt with was the exact opposite of that. And everyone was fucking awesome.
It's the internet. People have charged emotions. I wouldn't lose too much sleep over it, man.
I wouldn't know anything about that, which is nice.
It's cool. Like something happened to their mate, they're upset, move on.
Yeah,
Do
same.
you know what I mean?
Same.
Yeah, but when I usually say shit on the internet, like about violence, I'm at like a prepared level of my life to like. If I'm at that point, I'm gonna be like actually ready for real violence, and I want those people like, "Oh, you're a bunch of fucking assholes." Haha. I'm gonna go about my day. I'm gonna be like, you make statements like that, you gotta expect some sort of real repercussion. But
Yeah.
The repercussion is move on.
Yeah, right, let's do it. Let's move on, which is good.
I'm gonna hold a grudge the rest of my life for you.
LOV in the chat saying everyone's a little bitch compared to the Vikings, and Jonathan Edwards like, yeah. All right, Randy, how was your Saturday?
Yeah, good. So, obviously lost round 1, but the best game. It was just the whole thing was fun. Funnily enough, I have the most experience playing against Feck. Like, I've just played that much Feck going, and because the only games I play are at tournaments, right? So I always end up playing against Feck, and I just know what they do to a certain degree. I understand that army, and at the same time, I know what my army can do against it because I've been playing the same list for over a year. Like, my list hasn't changed since Cancon last year, basically. So I understand what my matchups are, not just, at a tournament, I can, like, this army's just going to beat me, whatever. But in the game, I know this unit beats that unit, this unit kills that unit, this unit can protect me for a turn, that sort of stuff. And that's just learning through experience. So the game was really fun. I kind of wish I played more Feck, but instead, after I gave Joe the belt, round 2, I was playing a Seraphon Thunderquake list with an Astrolith Bearer. Yeah. So he just rolled all of his hits, rerolled all his hits, rerolled all his wounds, and Razor Dawns fucking took my whole army off, and it was like, holy shit. I killed his Bastiladon 3 fucking times because he summoned it back twice. Spoiler alert. Oh, well, it's not really a spoiler alert. Everyone fucking knows. Snakes eat everything, right? In one turn, I killed...
Tomb King snakes, you mean?
Yeah, Tomb King snakes. I killed a Bastiladon, I killed a Stegodon, I killed a Bastiladon, I killed an Astrolith Bearer, and I killed a Slan, just with my one unit of snakes. I just took all of those things off the table. Wow. And then his Razor Dawns went, and killed everything. I was like,
I love Razor Dawns, man. They're so good.
That's really good. It's like, I reroll all these, and then those missed. But then I reroll them. Cool. Just puts them all back in the pile. Wow, rerolls are good. I lost that hard. And then round 3, I was actually playing Petrifex Elite, the Nagash Petrifex Elite in Blood and Glory. And one of the proudest things for the whole weekend for me was actually how I played that game, because I nearly beat them. It literally came down to end of turn 3, if I had killed 3 more Mortek Guard with my Bone Giant, which, yes, they're super durable, but a Bone Giant can fucking do that. I either needed to actually hit with 1 more of his attacks, or I needed for him to pile in and activate again on a 4-up. Neither of those things happened, but if I'd killed 3 more Mortek Guard, that was a major win for me. It ended up being a minor loss. He had 740 points. I had 520. It was super close. And you see everything that they do. Mortek Guard, for 13-point model battle line, they do everything my snakes do when they're buffed, but it's just on their war scroll. So they were just they don't even but they also do it better. Oh, my 6s explode, but they automatically hit. Excuse me. I was super proud about that game. I felt like I have where I was last year playing Cancon. I've definitely seen myself improve. So I think that's part of why I'm so proud of that game. But yeah, I went 0-3 day 1, but all of my games were lots of fun, and that's the main thing for me, is because I played my best at each of them. So it's not like I'm going to lose, I'm not going to win Cancon, but I'm going to play my best. If I'm going to lose, they're going to earn it off of me. I'll make you bleed for it. And yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Good. So Saturday night, this Saturday night as well, but if you would like to know about Saturday night, probably listen to the edited Dwellers Below podcast, which we recorded on Sunday night.
I think we can give them a quick synopsis. Alcohol was consumed, very little sleep was had.
Fun was had. Yeah. You guys rocked in at 5:30 in the morning.
5:15. I watched Sam make his Irish exit without saying goodbye.
Did you smoke bombing out?
But I saw, everyone's always like, he just disappears. I'm sitting and I can see him. He's just like. So it was wild. It was a good time, and
You're not really the party out on a Saturday night guy, right?
I fucking hate it. I had a horrible time. The worst bit of my night was I'd finally gotten to sleep, and Jacob woke me up from fucking bumfuck Tennessee or wherever he lives.
So for the chat, this is actually worth going into. So we got home at like 5:30 in the morning,
It's really hard to make me angry, but he made me angry.
and then Joe has called Jacob Berry.
No,
so that we could
no, don't put this on me. That was all Hohen.
All right, Hohen had called Jacob Berry because playing on his FOMO is a thing that we tend to do, which is, well, it's a dick move. Let's be honest, it is a dick move, but it also leads to beautiful stories like Joe opening Smorgan's door into the room he's got to himself so he can just chill out, and then Jacob Berry at full volume just goes, Smorgan! Because I was in the room next to Sam, and I heard that bit, and I went, oh, here we go.
I don't know how anyone could be that loud through a cell phone speaker. But it was, so yeah,
He materialized in the room for a moment.
What's even better is that after we were like, all right, let's not fuck with Sam. He's actually upset. We just did the same thing to Lockie. But like Lockie, like Nick has the phone like this to Lockie's face, and Lockie starts sleeping. Jacob going, "Are you coming to Nashcon?" So it was a little ridiculous. And, I have to apologize for that.
Saturday night, I'd been working all day Saturday, so I was pretty bushwhacked Saturday night, so I got some sleep. Saturday was a pretty rough day for me, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, leading into Sunday morning, we had loads of technical issues, like, to give a recap. Everything went fucking wrong, which, obviously, based on everything I was saying earlier in the show, right now, like, I was like super confident, right? Like, I'd last year I did 18 events, so like, I was adding some new elements this year, but I was like, I know most of the key elements work. Like, there's a couple of swinging parts. The internet was good, like there should be no issues, and then it all just went to pot. And me and Nick Hohen, big shout out again to Nick, on the Sunday lunch, because it all happened again Sunday morning. We like problem solved, and it turned out that it was like a CPU issue with the laptop, which I genuinely didn't think we'd ever hit. I never thought we'd ever hit a CPU cap, and this is super boring, like tech information, but like that was the issue. But all the stuff that I'd problem solved previously, like data put through, a whole bunch of stuff, that wasn't the issue. So like I was perplexed, and the problem is you can't fix it until you're live. But I was like, Sunday morning was like genuinely heartbreaking for me. I was like table bossing that game because Gemma and Vince were doing it. I was like nearly in tears. I was just like, what's the fucking point? Because like, it's the opposite of the hype that you guys have, where you're like, I can't wait to go have an amazing fun weekend, and I'm there like, okay, I can't wait to go and do my job really well. I can't wait to go and be proud of the work that I'm doing, because I was like confident about being proud. Does that make sense? I was like, people are going to like the dice tray I was super like happy with, the roving cam, all that, and it just went fucking to pot. So like Saturday night I was the emotional drain of that, so I was like just sleeping trying to get through it, which was like rubbish. But then games 5 and 6, like everything worked and it was golden, so that was great, and the games were sweet. So that was my Saturday Sunday as a recap. And then when everything worked, it was like it was great. Like really impressive, which some people were saying online, which I loved. So like big shout out to everyone who messaged us to let us know. So that was rad. How's your Sundays?
Yeah, Sam, how was your recap of Sunday?
I was so fortunate on Sunday morning because we were playing 3 Places of Power. Or we were playing Places of Arcane Power. We were playing one of the places, and
there was 3 of them.
And I was playing against a club mate and a mate that I'd driven up with on the Friday. And he looked at my army, and I looked at his, and he's like, you got fewer drops than me. Your 3 monsters move up. I can't kill them within the first 3 turns, so you've automatically won. And I'm like, all right, let's just play for your secondary. And we did that, and he got his secondary within about 18 minutes. And then I got an Uber back to the hotel, or back to the accommodation, and slept for 3 hours, which was awesome. And then
you needed it. And
then I came back to the venue and was playing Slanesh in round 5. And it was freaking awesome because at the end of turn 2, I had Marathi, Stardrake, and Gotrek all on the board, all still in good health. And he had a Keeper of Secrets, an Exalted Chariot, and the Mask. And that was it. And we rolled for turn 3 priority. And if I get it, I table him. And if he gets it, he summons back a full 2,000 points. So we just, before we rolled, he's like, so whoever gets a higher dice roll here gets a 20. And I'm like, yep, roll. Up pops my face.
Oh,
A
yeah,
6.
your dice.
And I'm just like, fuck yeah, 20 against Slanesh. Then he rolls a 6 on his club dice. I'm like, thanks, man. And I'm out of there. I went and spoke to Clint because I know that it's really frustrating as a TO if people drop out. And that he's obviously putting this amazing amount of effort and work. And if he has odd numbers, it's a real ball ache for him. But he was like, dude, you probably need to go to hospital. Like, you don't have to stick around for round 6, which is really cool of him.
Should we talk about Clint for a sec?
Oh, man, you had a rough time of it with technology, right? But I think what he experienced as a TO,
It's like a nightmare, isn't
can't
it?
think of anything, both more frustrating because it's out of your control, and also disappointing because he's put 12 months worth of effort into making the best event he can for everyone there and watching from home.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key takeaways is obviously like a lot of people don't see the effort that Clint puts in, and also Clint's team, right? All the guys that are helping him out. So Dan, Gemma, Mick, Dennis, like all those guys like helping Travis in the background doing some stuff. And then the tournament software was all fucked up. And it just didn't work. So the tournament software, so that's down in the pairings. So I spoke to Diffie, and I've been speaking to Diffie a lot. He's one of your Aussie guys, and he was saying that it wasn't even a server issue that he wasn't prepped for. So one of the things that we did live on the stream, which I was like super proud of, is we were auto-generating data from the tournament software, and I was like, this is like, you know what, you got giddy. For me anyway, I was like, I'm super proud of this because a click of a button, I'm showing everyone what the faction win percentage is live, which is just rad, right?
You know what we say?
What?
Automate and customize. Automate and customize. If you're doing that, you're winning.
Yeah.
That's the game, man.
Yeah. Like, so, well, that's a big shout out again to Tom Wallace, like helping out because this is his field, right? So, but Diffie's been on the phone to me for like over 20 hours in the past month, helping me with that. So the guy's like dedicated and really wants to try. So the tournament software messing up. Like he said, he's pretty certain that his service provider said that he got DDoS. So if you know what a DOS attack is, because also over in America. So as a comparison, the largest event ever to have happened in Warhammer, the LVO 2020, largest one ever to happen last year was LVO 2019. Their entire round started on the next day. So like to give Clint his due, and down at a pairing network their due. The biggest event in the world also had exactly the same problems.
They had like 1,000 people playing 40K, right?
Yeah. Well, and then like 200 people playing 40K friendly, 200 people playing Age of Sigmar, people playing Heresy and Guild Ball and fucking every other game system. You're talking thousands of people.
And I have one thing to say about that.
Yeah.
Fuck the Russians. Comrade.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
What did Lockheed do?
Fucking Russians, yeah. So yeah. I mean, it was fucked up. So big shout out to Clint for dealing with that all a Saturday, all a Sunday. Not only is you got the pressure of all those people to entertain and make sure they're happy with everything fucking up, but like, and there's nothing you can do if you're someone who's like, I need to manage a situation, and you can't manage the situation, and that's taken off you. That's got to be really frustrating. It's really hard. We've got to remember that, like. So what's really interesting about some of the stuff that's happened over the weekend is there are people who are just doing something for a hobby, yeah, and just fucking about and giving useless opinions online. There's people who are doing things for work. There's a big difference, right? Like, it's pretty serious. So anyway, how's your day?
I just want to say, I saw in the chat, someone said tabletop.to is the best tournament software, and isn't it kind of strange that they weren't DOS attacked, but the other two big tournament softwares were?
Well, they weren't.
They weren't.
Yeah,
Doesn't that seem a little odd to you?
Well, we were all having a swim. Yeah, it does. We were all
Stir
having
the pot, dude.
Yeah. We were all having a swim last night, and we were talking about it. And I was like, so BCP gets attacked, yeah, because that's what happened with BCP as well. Down
on the
Parents gets attacked, and then Randy's like, oh well, that means someone's attacking them for a reason. What's going down? And I'm like, tinfoil hat time, yeah. It was you who said it, and then Joe was like, "Oh shit!"
I didn't think I had that sort of tone in there, but
it's either tabletop.to, dun dun dun, or what do you call it? Tournament Software X. Anyway, my day 3 was great. It was just
day. Oh,
well,
yeah,
it was
day 2.
Full day 3 for me, but yeah, day 2.
Yeah,
the tournament. We had a good time. I played some OBR, won that. Played some Fire Slayers, lost that. Played some Maggotkin, won that. So that was a cool end of the tournament. Finished 20th overall out of 224, so that's pretty big for me.
5-1.
That's
one
my
and a
best
half hours
showing.
sleep.
5-1's massive. You got me over the moon about that.
Yeah.
And you lost the last game, or game 5.
No, I lost game 5.
Okay.
Yeah, the dude I played was super clear and like, oh my god, I thought I was like the best information I ever got from a tournament. Like I just was like I got rocked up the table and he's like, I'm gonna explain to you. He's like, do you know Fire Slayers? I was like, never played them. He's like, all right, this is how this works. This works because this guy's here. That they stay in a bubble this size. Blah blah. He was super clear about everything he was doing, and like, but the one thing he did not tell me is that everyone in the fucking unit was damaged too. So I was really frustrating, and I didn't want to be a dick about it because obviously he just told me so much information. It's easy to forget something, right? You know, but just damage 2 is something that's a little scary when you're playing a death army because, you know, you make your one, you don't have like the best armor. You have decent armor saves. In fact, you have 4 ups and 5 ups. Cools don't count. But when everything you fail becomes 2, is you might as well not even fucking roll the armor save because you're gonna fail like 50 to 66%.
Yeah.
This is Rend. He had Rend 2, so it was like I was failing 70-something%, and then it was becoming 140-something%.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and then death saves and all that. It doesn't mean anything. So if I would have knew that, I probably would have played a lot cagier or just tried to play for a minor instead of trying to win the game. And that was the end of that. So, but it was a great guy. It really was.
This is the problem when SEALs ascend to the top tables. Because basic weapon profiles of common armies, like if I'm that dude, I'm thinking, wait, table 4, table 5 at the time, this dude's going to know that like Hearthguard Berserkers are either 2 mortal wounds or Ren 1 damage 2. That's their 2 weapon profiles.
It's literally.
I can't
literally the army's weapon profile. Yeah.
I can't control it. They don't really exist in the meta that I play in. It's not like I play here with like 15 Fire Slayers around me. I'm in New York. There's one. It's Chai, and he works at fucking a restaurant. So it's not like you can't control your
Chai and he
experience.
works at a restaurant.
What?
That's awkward.
What?
He's called Chai and he works at a restaurant.
He's actually the manager of a restaurant. But, like, you know what I'm saying? I can't control my meta, and when I'm so far out of my meta, like, there's nothing I could do about it. The way people play and the way army lists are written and the quality of player in the United States is, I would say, generally, I would say more people are either good at the game or are better at chasing the meta than you guys are here. Because, I mean, I played... One game I had, I won't say who it was, but the guy just made such insane mistakes, and I was on day 2. So
Was it Randy?
It was on
no,
day 2.
no.
I was the one on day 1, Sam. Get it right.
The OBR player I played teleported Nagash onto the center objective, so he didn't take it. And then he went to the right objective and was like, kill my zombie dragon, but I was like, okay, you're out of the game. You're 2 turns behind because I got on the objectives in the first turn. Yeah, you killed him, but now you can't fucking leave. And then he just left my Terrorgeist all by himself. I mean, like, he sent 20 Mortec Guard and a fucking Bone Shaper or whatever into him, and I was like, okay. I ate everyone, and then I was just like, that scenario is a scenario where once you're ahead, your opponent has to come and kill you because if you're ahead, he can't catch up ever. So I just was like, I couldn't believe he teleported on. All he had to do was just move Nagash to center objective, shimmy him back and forth, and just arcane bolt and do all sorts of ridiculous shit. And he would have killed all my stuff and won. But he went to the wrong objective with Nagash, and he had a hero over there. So that wouldn't have happened on round 4 undefeated anywhere in the States.
Oh.
So
we done everyone's games?
No,
no,
well,
I had my game 6. Too.
Sorry, yeah, go.
I played Jordan. He was awesome.
I got lost.
Yeah, he's about half my height. I'm very excited.
and half your size. Like, he's just half your size.
Send someone down. I'm here. Who is that? No, fuck him.
Yeah.
All right.
Off you go, Sam.
My game 6 is. Oh, fuck me. I'm leaving.
No, tell us.
My game 6 is great. Jordan was awesome. He had a lot of energy that I did not have. I had been partying all night, and just got super, super, super tired in round 6. So he had this Maggotkin list that was really interesting, and it was nice.
What list, sorry?
What?
What sort of list?
Yeah, well, it was. It had a plus Blight Lord on the bug.
Yeah.
And I've never seen
Plus
one of those in a
Blight
game.
Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he also had 40 plague. We have 40 plague monks, which is kind of common, and 10 Blight Kings, 5 Blight Kings, 5 Blight Kings, 5 Blight Kings. I think that's what it was. And he had a battalion. He was 4 drops, so he outdropped me. And he had Festus. I've never seen Festus on the table in the States. So it was cool. And he played it well. But everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So I've just managed to swing one good thing. He failed 2 he spent the command point instead of saving it for battle shock. He failed 2 battle shocks with his Blight Kings, and just the units, those big scary units of multi-wound guys that are hard to kill. When they were battle shock, he lost like 3 guys in 1 turn, so it was kind of crippling for him. It left me an opening to swing my army into his and take him off objectives. So, but he was a great dude, and he was just like had this energy, and like he'd be like, "You're sending your dragons at me?" It's like, "No, no, 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 no." And I was like, and I'm like, my insides are like, "Dude, you're gonna shit yourself. You're so fucking hungover. You're sweating. It's hot. It's supposed to be
Don't
winter.
laugh. Don't
You
laugh.
barely have a voice. You've been out all night. You've had an hour and 45 minutes sleep, and this guy is making eating sounds at you, and you're feeling really sick right now." And I'm like, "Don't be a dick." In my head, I'm like, "Don't be a dick to this guy. He's so fucking nice. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick." I'm like, "Dude, I'm really sorry. I'm having a hard time matching your energy. I've been out all night." I'm like, and then he's like, he keeps making these jokes, and I just want to be like, "Shut the fuck up." I'm so hungover. And I'm like, "No, he's a nice guy. You got to be a nice guy. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick." So, but like, he's awesome. I really like him. I like hanging out with him. But like, it's like, it was just at that point of my day, I could not get to his level, and it was insane. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get a tall, scary German man.
Yeah, good. We've done everyone's games Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah.
Florian's like, I want to hear about your
Did you play? You played. We talked about all your games, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
Good. All right, sweet. We're waiting for Nick to come.
Let's close it before he gets here.
So yeah, my Sunday, like I talked about, I think the thing to take away, I met loads of great dudes, but the thing that for me, the last 2 games when everything was working was pretty phenomenal, especially that last game. I never got to see Simon play, Simon Hall, and he's played a bunch of different game systems, right, like to a very high-end professional level, and then I also got to see Jimmy Page, so James play from
New Zealand?
From New Zealand. And then I was talking to Sean and Tubbsy Sunday night. So that's AOS Tubbs and Sean. And they were like, the guy is like electric on the tabletop. And I'd seen him play game 5, right? And I was like, his decision making was stupendous. I watch, obviously I do a lot of coverage. Like, it was fast. He was like he was immediate decision.
Puts pressure on.
Yeah, well, to be what was interesting was Dalton was playing super quick too. Like, so he was playing Dalton game 5. Dalton was putting that early.
Shout out to Dalton.
Yeah.
Fucking so good that he did that well.
Yeah.
With his list, which was so different to all the other orc lists.
Yeah, really
terrific effort.
Big war.
Awesome dude as well.
Yeah, I don't know him, but
Yeah, he's a
good.
ripper.
Thank you for the context. Yeah, but Dalton, same thing. Dalton was just like early doors. This is flying. You getting that? That's pressure. He's just come off the back of beating Ash with his with Zinch.
No, he rolled Matty Watkinson.
Oh, Maddie, sorry. So like, yeah,
Poor Matty. Matty looked like he was going to cry after that game. He's just like, he made a fuck up. You know, and like it's in your control. He didn't screen as well as he could have and lost the chicken.
It was 2 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk
Came
about
out
that.
at 2
Talk about that
inches.
for a second, because like a lot of people like lambast or again the internet, and I know it's the internet, and I know you don't take any truck with it. So sometimes you see the phrase like it's just toy soldiers thrown out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you commit, emotionally commit to winning a
100%,
game.
man.
100%. Like and people are like don't be so emotional about it. I'm like,
You've invested quite literally thousands of dollars in being there, hundreds of hours painting your army, however long practicing, thinking about it. Like, I was on the flight yesterday, and I was so dirty with GW because War Scroll Builder was down. So I just wanted to punch out lists, you know? And I opened up notes and started just doing tables.
Yeah.
I was just doing tables. How many wounds can I get into City's armies? Like, can I legitimately run a 220 wound City's army? Because
Okay,
maybe
super
that beats
interesting.
Change Host. Maybe.
Yeah, right.
Maybe,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But
maybe
like,
you can handle the damage.
that's right. Because particularly if I'm getting +1 save in the first turn, and the spell is an aura of +1 attack, I can maybe kill horrors. I can shoot horror. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just thinking the problem through. You invest all of that energy in building your list. And Matty's been playing Zench forever. He didn't jump on the bandwagon. His stuff is beautiful. Like, it's painted so well.
He was on the top tables at Sydney
At
GT
Sydney
with the
GT
old
book,
Zench too.
which was also cooked. But then he's lost to Dalton in a matchup that he probably overnight is thinking, I feel good about this.
Yeah, I feel
I
really
screen
good
out,
about
I
that.
sit on the objectives, he can't beat me.
Yeah, basically.
But he didn't screen as well as he could have.
Yeah, so like when you were saying like he was nearly in tears, like that's what I want. That's what I wanted to put.
Shell shocked, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but I agree. But I wanted to put like a flag in that. Like, there's that deep commitment that we all have. Sometimes we just have that deep commitment for fun. Yeah, like, but sometimes we have that deep commitment to like that personal game. So it's important, and I want that stated on record because I know that I've been just invested. Nick Cohen, hello.
Literally just pushed my bet across.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
wreck the shot, Nick. Wreck the shot. You got to pull it back.
Are
Anyway,
any of these beds big enough for you guys? You are three big dudes.
bigger than the Caratel.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Caratel does not sound like a fun experience.
So yeah, I just wanted to put that in because I think that's an important note to make. So yeah, he rolled. Dalton's rolled a big name. Yeah, big army. Rolled that Zinch. Oh, Nick, don't.
Bit of a dollars
This is a
below
professional
feeling.
cast, man.
Welcome to Nick Cohen from the Dwellers Below.
No one needs to hear from Nick. It's fine.
G'day. How are you all doing?
So watching Dalton play, and you were table bossing Nick for that game. How quick was the decision making coming out of James? Right to the face.
It was crazy, right? So I've held a microphone before, Rob. Not like Joe here. It was crazy from James.
I'm used to doing it where I'm screaming, So it's like, this is really painful.
So Jimmy was crazy fast. His first turn, he knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he could have been forgiven for having to take a pretty long think about that turn because Dalton moved a rogue idol like 75 inches into his army from the back of the board because this was escalation. The rogue idol was in the back corner of the board and charged turn one because he got triple movement. He did a Mighty Destroyers move. It just absolutely teleported all the way across the table. So like Jimmy could have been forgiven for being like, oh, I didn't expect this. Like, what's going on? And his first turn was just so efficient. He just knew exactly what he wanted to do. As soon as he won the turn roll, without even blinking, he was just like, yep, you can have it.
Like so fast. Like honestly, like I was like, wow. Yeah. Sorry.
I was table boss. I barely knew the turn roll had happened. It was that quick and it was just that efficient. Like it was really impressive because Zench, like rightly or wrongly, gets sort of criticised for being an army that takes a long time to play. And
it's
so
complex. So
it is complex. There's so many interactions and so many different things to measure, and especially with horrors now, you're spending so much time putting models on. You're rolling so many dice because I got 3 attacks for the blue, pinks, 2 for the blues. You're getting re-rolls on this. Then they're going to hit, so they don't die so easily. There's a lot of interactions, a lot of stuff to do, but Jimmy was right on it. He played really quick.
Yeah, really quick. So it was an amazing game. But like Dalton, just like I'm not saying was like he made some big plays. Those big plays didn't pay off. So that throws it right. Hail Mary, I reckon. Some of the plays, which works, right? It can. Didn't pay off. So unfortunately didn't go to him. But then leading into that last game, I've spoken to Simon quite a bit online. But when we'd seen Game 4, seen a Mirror City match, which was super interesting. Avant-Garde versus Tempest Eye, I'm pretty certain. And that was rad. Like, I loved it. Plus, we saw a Heresy Dragon on the table, so super rare.
Yeah, Bigwood's amazing hobby. Like, Bigwood is just really great at hobby.
Yeah, like I've got that dragon and I've been so scared to paint it, and he's done an absolute wonderful job on it. I mean, he's a Golden Demon painter, so he's like, his hobby's always great.
Yeah, and they played also. Both those guys played, and that was also Carwin. I say it wrong all the time.
Carwin Llewellyn, I think.
Yeah, Carwin. And they played. Like, I was table bossing for that. I've table bossed some shitty games, like from some big names, right? So like watching. I don't know these two guys on a professional, like on a gaming level, and like, I don't really know them on a personal level, but it was tight as fuck. Like, and they're old hammer, like they had 30 years experience each. So they were like, yeah, we're rocking into this with 60 years experience. I was like, oh sweet. Everything was measured, everything was good. Like, it was a bit more methodical and slow than we saw maybe in games 5 and 6, but it was precise, and I'd rather see that all day long. So it was really good. And then that final game, like Dave Fraser saying in the chat, was electric. It was swingy, back and forth. Phoenixes were flying in, Shadow Warrior drops, big plays from Simon early, who just put that aggro pressure on. And against other people, I would have thought that would have been pretty solid, right? But having just seen Jimmy play and seeing that level of like reaction, I was just like, and again, he reacted immediately. I was like, fuck, like we got a game on. Simon's reactions were the same, but I think what really blew me away was in Jimmy's first turn, watching some pink horrors and some flamers melt 30 Phoenix Guard, like melt them. I was like, holy fuck. Like, it was a bit of a bad dice roll. Everything hit and wounded with the flamer unit, but and then he made no saves with the Phoenix Guard, so he's got to go to those 4 up after damage saves on the D3s. But it was just like, because he put him in the middle. I was like, all right, there's 30 Phoenix Guard there, immune to battle shock, in the center objective. They're going nowhere. Like, you're holding out focal points. End of the first turn for Zinch, nothing. I was like, well, fuck, what am I going to do now? Like, but it was an amazing game, and might be the best game I've ever covered. Like,
it was just so swingy every turn. Like, we had people. The way we were predicting it, at the end of Simon's turn, we thought, okay, Simon's going to win. At the end of Jimmy's turn, we're like, Jimmy's going to win. And then Simon wins the priority. And at the end of his turn, it looks like he's going to win again. And it's just every turn, maybe that's just because they were having their turn. And they were just doing more than we expected they would do every single turn. And it was like wow, who is actually going to take this game? It was super tight at the end. And, in the end, Jimmy got up and got over the top of Simon just because of that attrition war. I think, every model that Simon was taking off wasn't coming back, and every model, most of the models that Jimmy was taking off came back, except for some of the characters. So, yeah, it was a super swingy, super well-played game by both players. And what I liked from Simon was that he was really aggressive early, which was similar to Dalton against Jimmy in the game before, except that he backed that up with aggression from the next turn as well, whereas Dalton was it was just a rogue idol which he could deal with, and then it was just the pigs that he could deal with.
And I think some of that's really player skill, isn't it? Because, sometimes if you're confident in what you're doing and you've done it enough times, stuff isn't going to phase you as much. You're like, I know what I can do about that, and I'm going to just do it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and from everything I've heard from the Kiwis, he knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to it. But wicked game, and big shout out for Jimmy stealing away the Aussie and the world title, really, because it's the biggest event in the world ever, and taking it home.
I was gonna say, I think, was that Magro?
Yeah, Polo.
There it is. He was complaining about the sound. That's all. Just wanted to get a cheeky Magro Polo in there.
So I'll just touch on it real quick, Rob. But for my day 2, went straight into it, just like Joe, because that's what happens when you
Did you just throw to yourself?
I did throw to myself.
Wow,
Yeah, good move.
I just thought Rob had forgotten. He's had probably the longest time than the rest of us.
Yeah.
But I was playing Scaventide with a Vermin Lord Corruptor with a Sword of Judgment, and I was just like, what the fuck do I do about that? Turns out he didn't get to fight combat for 4 turns because I just kept disappearing, so that was pretty fun. So I won a game. It was great.
Oh yeah, tell me. I thought I asked everyone about Sunday.
No,
Please
it's still
continue.
good.
What else happened?
What's up? Oh no, you can figure that out on your own, Sam. Sorry. But yeah, and then my game 2 was against a Cunning Ruck list, and I told him what my army did. I was really clear about it. We were playing on a Realm of Battle board, which, by the way, should never be at an event because Realm of Battle boards suck fucking ass.
they are the worst.
I played on 2. My round 4 that I played against my round 3 against OBR was on 1. All those big stupid hills were off on the edges. Probably the only way where that setup of those tiles is fine. This game, they were all set up in the middle. There's a big fuck off hill in the center of the board that they've then put a Chaos Dreadhold on all over this table. So I basically didn't even want to play because the board was so shit.
Question for you. Yeah, your options are play on a Realm of Battle board, a mat, or just a plank of wood. What do you choose?
I don't mind the mat so much because I find the dice are probably a little bit easier to manage on.
All right, so now your options are, Nick, to you, Realm of Battle board or just a plank of wood?
I'd play on a plank of wood in a heartbeat over a Realm of Battle board.
It's hot garbage. It's fucking
just,
trash.
If I'm playing a narrative game and I want it to look really cool, I can live with playing on a Realm of Battle board, and I'll be prepared, and I'll have a dice tray, so I'm not rolling dice on the Realm of Battle board because that's an absolute nightmare. But at a tournament, ideally I'd want nice painted boards or mats or whatever, but I'd take a blank piece of wood that happens to be 6x4. Even if it was 5x4, I'd probably play on that.
It actually impacted the game because my snakes, I can make them fly. I physically couldn't put them where I wanted to. Even putting dice down, it was going to be messy. It impacted how we had to play the game, and that's just the worst. But
I wanted to say, back in the States, back in the day playing Warhammer Fantasy, everyone had like textured boards that they had made, and it like cut your fingers up from picking dice up all weekend. Your cuticles would be all fucked up and shit. But I like that because things didn't slide around on it, and like that's the one thing I really find I get frustrated about in Age of Sigmar is that a little bump changes a lot. Like a little nudge, and it's like a lot easier to nudge one single model than it was to nudge like a tray of models, especially ones that were metal. Yeah. But like a little nudge can mean a lot. Terrain gets moved. Terrain dice gets like knocked over really easily because we're playing on mostly smooth surfaces. So at Cancon, I've never played on just flat sprayed MDF boards, and I know that's kind of more commonplace here in Australia, but in the States it's mainly the fat mats. And the fat mats, things really slide on them, and like its objectives get moved all the time. Like I'm at the point where I keep blue tack on the bottom of my objectives, so when I push them on the table, they don't fucking move. Because you put a model on top of the objective, when you pick the model up, it moves the fucking model. Yeah. It moves the objective. So
yeah, and it's really important, right? I'll play on a plank with rusty nails sticking out my legs, says Vangelis. Okay, good.
We've got to credit to Clint. Like he's got 110 tables he needs to fill. At some point, you're going to have to drop down to the lower level of the Realm of Battle board.
Yeah, I think I came very close to getting to the absolute bottom table, so that was fun.
And like it'd be ideal to play on mats. Absolutely, no doubt. It'd be less work for Clint and Travis who were like spraying all these boards. Like there was so many boards that they brought in from outside the event that they had to paint and spray and so much scenery work that they had to do. So it'd be great for Clint to just roll out 110 mats, and I think that would be ideal. But in Australia particularly, the shipping on the mats is massive. The pricing on the mats is massive.
Is there nowhere in Australia that makes them in-house?
Look, you're looking at about at least $100 Australian dollars, if not more, per mat. And so when you
even at cost,
yeah, and so that's just how much they're selling them for. How much, but then you've got to work out design and stuff like that. And when you're already organising a tournament as big as Cancon, so if someone wants to jump on board and sponsor us for 110 mats next year, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
They're expensive in the States too. They're like $75 US. So yeah, I've seen tournaments. You go to a tournament, they got like 40 of them. You're like, holy shit, this is a massive investment, So it'd be understandable to just rock out. I actually liked rolling on flat, hard surface again because it felt like dice were rolling. I feel like with mats, sometimes when you roll, the dice just slide. It's like the guy just took a 6 and went, and like it slid across the tail. I was like, that's a roll, So I prefer it. So I had a great time.
Good. Brendan, any more games?
Then there was just the last game against Legion of Blood.
A sub-faction of Legion of the Gash.
Yeah, I set up against them. I played, basically it was either go for the draw, because I was definitely certain I could draw that game, and play 5 turns, or just, it's turn 6, I'm down the bottom tables, who cares, let's have some fun. Set up for a double, lost the priority roll, he took my army off. If I'd won the priority roll, I'd take his army off. It's the risk you take. So,
yeah.
I wasn't upset. It was like literally that was it. It literally comes down to this dice roll, and I know that.
Happy with the weekend?
It was awesome. It was so much fun. I think we're gonna lose the Tomb Kings in GHB 20. So biggest tournament in the world, and then Bobo's gonna probably be the last event before the GHB points remove him potentially.
Do you reckon? Why would they add them for one cycle?
Probably just a way of consolidating stuff into there, and then since then, all of these other books, like Seraphon's about to get an updated Battle Tome. All this stuff's going to be in Battle Tomes now.
So do you think the Wyvern might age out on the 30th of June?
Yeah, that's my thought. My thought is GHB 20, we're going to lose a lot of that old stuff. The Cities of Sigmar, Orc War Clans.
Orcs, Greenskins.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I reckon they put them in Legends. They've like, look, we identify that they're there. Here they are. Because they've said that, because they've assigned them points for perpetuity, and then they'll time out. They'll be like, cool, the points are still there. You can play with them forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like they put them in a place where you can buy that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. And we'll lose them. So Bobo's probably going to be the last run of the Tomb Kings, but I'm just really happy. I think I've played well with them this event, or for what I was playing against, and pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had a great time.
Yeah. Good. Ooh, great. Someone just asked me in the chat, did I see the cool Army Painter playmat at LVO? I did, and I fucking hate it with all of my heart. So we obviously bought those see-through objective markers with us for the stream, and we've been working on those for quite a while, because what we're trying to do is make it. They're a bit too reflective. I'm going to try and find a way of making them matte, But I'm trying to find a way to make it so it still looks like a game of fantasy battle as opposed to a product placement game.
Yeah, was this the mat that had the massive Army Painter logo in the middle of it that was on the stream?
Yeah.
It looked awful.
Awful. I fucking loathed it. Like, I hated the 45-degree angle. I hated that they hadn't color corrected it so it was fucking green. I think the LVO stream was an embarrassment, both Age Sigma and 40k, to the communities that it represented. I don't mean that to be horrible. I just mean that you could do better.
Yeah.
And I especially think that you could not have a giant thing that says Army Painter in the middle. Just if you want some product placement or advertising, just have something that pops up that says like Army Painter. Like, it's less obnoxious if it pops up every 30 minutes for 5 seconds.
And then being forced to stare at it.
I mean, it's not the UFC. Like, you don't get to put a fucking Harley Davidson logo in the center of the fucking ring, right? Like, it's fucking ridiculous. I mean,
It's
I'm not
a map. It's not like you're not playing Call of Duty in the middle of it's like a fucking McDonald's.
If you're on the
Like-
if you're on a stream and like, are you gonna in like Vegas next year? You're on the stream table one, and bro, like fucking some asshole walks up to you like, here you gotta wear this fucking jersey. It's got like 65 fucking advertisements on it, like you're a fucking footballer, you know.
Imagine if you're playing and it was like the Super Bowl, but in the middle of the Super Bowl pitch, covering like 30% of the middle of the pitch was just this giant Army Painter logo.
Yeah, it's the
Like,
worst.
Compared to the size of the game field, it was gigantic.
Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. So no, I hated it, start to finish. So I hope that answers that question. I don't want to rag on them too much, but LVO has been planned for a long time. I really do think that they could have. I mean, the LVO stream last year for Age Sigma was genuinely horrific. Like, I ragged on it a lot, which it deserved. Like, I think fair criticism is directed at me. Like, people in the chat yesterday were like, this is laggy as fuck. I was like, cool, I'm sorry. Like, I want to do a better job. I apologise that it's not as good as it could be. I will do better. I think the fact that they made no effort, I think, to do last year, and this year I think was still pretty crap anyway. Just do a better job. Like, if that's the field you want to be in, but obviously I super care about what I do, so I can understand that other people don't give a fuck. Fine, but I think that's a shitty way to live your life. Try hard at what you do. Yeah. But overall, great weekend. And then Sunday we recorded, coming soon. Nick, you organised a mega cast.
We did the annual Cancon podcast, a mega show. So hosted by the Dwellers Below, feat about 7 billion other different content creators. So I can't even really remember any of them. I definitely forgot in the episode to include Heralds of War in there. So Heralds of War were there as well with Adam Burt. So it was it was awesome.
Who's funny?
He's funny.
Adam Burt's
just
funny.
Super funny.
Yeah.
But like AOS Shorts was there. We had the Notorious Boys. Vince Venturella was there. Obviously, we had the Mortal Wound podcast. Like too many to name, literally. Swoley was there, and then some of the Dwellers guys were there. Some were in a better mood than others.
It was awful. It was more awful than the Saturday at Mooseheads.
We talked about some amazing stuff. Some interesting concepts were raised.
We already brought up the Vince gets his ass.
Yeah, we ate it. Don't worry, we raised it.
Yeah, it was probably like the first thing we talked about this morning.
So Vince gets his ass eaten, and Dan Shorts does not have a favorite sex position.
Can you just talk about Dan Shorts for a second? Like, Dan Shorts works super hard. This is the thing about, again, differentiating between T-Sports Network and Honest Wargamer. Like, who and what we are is, I don't think we should ever run away from who and what we are in our lives, especially in our hobby. Randy, you were saying yesterday, the thing you like most about Warhammer is you go play Warhammer, and we were driving back yesterday, and I was just messaging my girlfriend, and I was just describing everyone in the car. I was like, we've got someone trying to be an actor with pink hair, yeah. Like, we've got a policeman, yeah. We've got a sheet metal worker. We've got a fucking man with no job. That's me. Before you get there, Nick. Yeah. We got a cheese scientist. It's an incredibly eclectic hobby, but also that means we have an incredibly eclectic level of taste, and also a decorum. Joe, you and I, Dwellers, sometimes I imagine, can sometimes push those boundaries that people find appropriate and comfortable, which is cool because you got to respect those, right? Like Shortsy's Shortsy will go and do some yoga with me and drink some chai tea. No, what I want to point out is that he was still there in a room where he knows it's going to be
But he looked physically uncomfortable the whole time. He looked like he was it was like putting him in It's like he was like in a hot tub and someone shat in it while he was in there. That's how he looked. He looked like someone had a wet fart in the hot tub with him.
I thought this would be fun, but it's not so much fun right now.
His face was the physical expression of finding people uncouth. Yeah,
Because he's so prepared and he puts so much effort into the prep, and that's just absolutely not what us at the Rage of Sigma podcast conglomerate do. Like, there is no prep, there is no pre-show effort. We just rolled it. Even this, we had like 15 different podcasters in the room. I didn't think of any questions before, and I'm just like, yeah, let's just roll this.
yeah,
and
you're
see how
such
we
a
go.
natural. Like, and also like that's one of the things. Like, talking about the weekend again, I put so much pressure on myself. Sometimes I often won't do some prep just because I feel like the pressure I put on myself by doing the prep is so much that I can't enjoy. I like organic live things. It's why, like, previously I was trying to do those daily videos and I was writing scripts and I was doing them and I fucking hated it. Like, I was demotivated. I was I was uncomfortable. It felt out of my place. But just turn the stream on, talk shit to the chat and like create something live and organically. It feels in my. That's how I work. But Dan, on the opposite, was so prepared. He was so organised. He could do so well. That's one of the things about our hobby that's really nice, is that we do have those different groups, right?
Absolutely. And he was just sitting there watching people shout out about Vince getting his arse eaten because he won a painting award. And he could not deal. It was amazing.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I think at one point I would have liked the Honest Wargamer to have been fairly professional, but, you know, I worked with Nathan Prescott, and for a good long time, a dog's arsehole would just walk in front of the screen. People are like, I can't believe you said something rude on Twitter. I'm like, I've shown the world a dog's arsehole consistently. Not like occasionally, but consistently every week. To the point where it's a joke. Someone's drawn a picture of me, Nathan, and Jet's arsehole in this beautiful mural. And I'm like, that's what you're dealing with. What other level do you expect from me? Like, be there.
And then someone like Mark Wildman's on the show, and it just goes to another level.
Another level.
Yeah, we were fortunately joined by Mr. Wildman earlier today.
He was there, yeah.
What up, babe?
So if you guys got any takeaways from the weekend? That's what I want to hear about.
The thing I'm going to take away the most from my experience in the Australian AOS community is it's really been all about the friends we made along the way.
And as much of a joke as that has turned into, I think that's really
the friends who got inside me.
The event's great. Playing the games is great, but honestly, it's just hanging out with everyone is probably one of the reasons why Cancon ends up being such a big party.
Can I put a pin in that and say that I don't think Cancon... Well, I mean, yeah, like regionally right now, this event, but like hanging out with you guys this weekend for me has been phenomenal, so thank you. And all the other people who I saw this weekend as well, like Seasonal, who was in the chat, he's bought me some protein bars. He was just like, yo dude, I know you never get good food at this event, so I'm going to bring you some protein bars, which is rad. People are bringing me waters and whatnot. Like, but the people, like, and that's the community all the world over. Like, Joe's flown over, I've flown over. You guys are this community here, and it's an amazing community. Like, there's other guys as well. I'm not saying you guys are the community. There are the Australian community. But yeah, I think the friends we made along the way is the most important bit, right?
And that's why Cancon has become the biggest event, because it's traditionally that's the convention that everyone goes to, and so you have like no other tournament draws people from across the country like Cancon does, and not even just the country, internationally, with the guys coming from New Zealand, from Scotland, from America,
Scotland, yeah, Flixie was here,
from Tasmania. So you just have like people come from all over the place for Cancon. No other event draws people, and people have locked this into their calendars years in advance. Like, we're already talking about, are we booking this Airbnb straight up? What's the go? Like, we're planning Cancon next year and the year after, because it's the event you go to in Australia and everyone goes.
Gail gave us a 3-star review because we left Coronas in the front yard and her neighbours told her we were really loud on the Thursday.
Oh, what? 3-star review on Airbnb?
3-star. I'm still going to ask her if we can come back. But she wrote to me straight away. She's like, there's Coronas all over the front yard. I'm like, okay, cool.
Apologies.
Crap.
Yeah.
We must have missed those.
That's right. It's just it would have been an oversight.
Yeah. But she was right. We got really rowdy.
Oh, look, we were loud on the Thursday, but not beyond like being
we were
ridiculous.
loud.
And
we were so loud we didn't realize that lady was yelling at us to be fucking quiet until about an hour after she started.
There's mechanisms in place for resolving noise complaints. I'm just saying they didn't use them.
Yeah, Nick, what was your takeaway from the weekend?
The people that we met inside us along the way.
Have you got another one? Like an actual like moment?
An actual sort of takeaway
I'm
moment.
going to push you like a Sorkin TV
Yeah,
show.
this is awful. This is organic podcasting, and sometimes it's
Yeah.
just a train wreck, right?
Yeah.
Now, look, I loved being on the stream. I loved your energy that you brought to it. I know you had a tough weekend at times. You know, a lot of setup that you put in, like the hours you put in. This guy was not on holiday, people. Like, he turned up at my place on Tuesday. I picked him up from the airport, and he went to work. He spent 2 days at my place just working. Halfway up in the bus, he's working out things that he needs to do for the weekend. He spends all the Friday, like we're talking 9 or 10 hours on Friday, setting up the stream, half the time with like only 1 or 2 people helping him while the rest of us are off playing games. This guy's not on holidays. He's here to work and he's here to be professional, and he absolutely smashed it. You spent all Saturday on the stream working out issues, then you spent half of Saturday night on the stream while we were out partying fixing the issues. You spent all Sunday on the stream. Like, it's fucking magnificent, man. You're like, and you look at the hours you put in, and you look at like whatever money you've probably earned over the weekend, or whatever, you know, us as a community have sort of given you to fly over here, and that maybe covers your costs, barely, if that. And the amount of hours you've put in is just phenomenal, and the amount of effort you've put in, and the product you're putting out is phenomenal, and it's amazing. And it was just for me a pleasure to be a part of that, and like a part of it that just got to chill out. And you know, when I was feeling horrible on Sunday morning, I could just flake out and be like, I'm just gonna go like curl up in this corner and let the rest of the team deal with it, because I just wasn't in any fit shape to do anything. But you couldn't do that. You were just working the whole time, and you were doing such a good job, and you know, constantly having like talking to people, you know, people coming up to you and just saying, hey, I just want to say hi, and they were pretty much ready to walk away then and there, because that's all they thought they'd get out of you, and you were just sitting there talking to them and, you know, having a chat about the hobby with people, and like just the humility and the effort you put in down here in Australia. It was fantastic, and
thanks, man.
so much respect.
It's getting awkward now. I'm getting real uncomfortable. But thanks. Yeah, no, yeah.
That's why he's
thank
got
you.
to hide his.
I was going to say, he's shifting. He can't sit properly anymore.
Makes me super awkward. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, but we got holiday today. We're going to go see some animals, right?
That's
Yeah,
it.
we're going to see some
Like,
animals.
and I couldn't have done it without you. I thought thanks you at the top of the show already. You've been amazing, but you're all spectacular. Like even Smorgan, like little moments. Like said some things last night. Like the community, like is a bunch of and Randy. Me and Randy had like some deep chats on the drive. Like it's some genuinely. I do work hard. I'm not going to run away from that or try and hide behind it. But everyone around me, like smart, talented, dedicated individuals, like from all different fields, and or people like I know Michael, for instance, from the Fail Charge works super hard. Anything he does, he puts his mind to, works super hard, right? Yeah, but that motherfucker will not stop having a good time. He won't let you stop having a good time. And like we're lucky to have such like here, England, Ireland, like Sweden, like wherever the fuck we go, New Zealand. Like I only got to meet Tubbs for the first time properly, but fuck, Big Sean, I already met him before. He's great. Like that is the key part. We should like fight together as a community because it's pretty rad. Yeah, play some good Warhammer. Just take Gotrek every time.
Absolutely. And so,
Dun, 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 dun,
like
dun, dun.
all weekend, like we were looking for this massive party weekend, and we absolutely got that, and we had a great time. But for me, there were just some really wholesome moments between people and as a group, where people were just genuinely looking out for each other and being really great to each other, and that was the best part of the weekend.
Yeah, Randy.
Yeah, look, I just enjoyed seeing everyone. Like the tournaments is the only time I get to play Warhammer, so I'm getting to play a hobby that I enjoy with people that are great.
Was it that meet last night?
Oh fuck, that was really good.
Did you go meet in Wineco?
No, we went to a Japanese restaurant, and Joe and I had Wagyu beef for the first time, and it was
Oh, dude,
amazing.
yeah, hell yeah.
It was incredible.
I had a bowl of corn.
Yeah, we felt real bad because we thought like there'll be some options. Then we sat down and we're like, oh shit, there's like nothing but meat here. And then we managed to find a few things.
Yeah, we did.
Rob
we
had rice and corn.
We offered Rob to go
Poor
somewhere
bastard.
else, but Rob refused to hear a word of it. And then like
It did look amazing.
Joe and I just went to town, and Rob's just like, oh, it's so sweet. You guys are like both getting, because we got two of everything. We're like both getting our piece, and then waiting until the other one's ready, and then we're like having it at the same time. It's like, how's that? It's like, oh, the foie gras is just melting in my mouth. It's delicious. It's so good. It was fantastic. So yeah, keep your eyes open for maybe some food reviews of where to go and eat.
Yeah,
when
we've
you're on.
decided that's going to be Randy's.
when-
That's
when you're
Randy's
at tournament.
podcast. Yeah, food reviews of tournaments. That's the one. Sam, what was your highlight for the weekend?
It's got to be the community, right? Like, it's a bit of an echo chamber in here, but it's just so cool hanging out with everyone. And I'm sometimes a bit like critical of the direction of the game, but I had a heap of people come up to me and just like not even introduce themselves, just start talking about cities. I'm so obsessed with that cities book, and it's awesome. And people are coming up to me and like, have you seen you can do this with chariots? And have you seen you can do this? And we're not talking hello hard, and do you know what I mean? We're not talking like +7s to cast. We're just going into the minutiae of, but what if you take 10 units of 10 Blackguard? Like even Joe and I like just working through that book. And it's just awesome. I don't know the people. Like they just come up, they start having the conversation. There was this dude from our club, and it was his first event. He didn't play. He just came to watch. And 3 or 4 times he just came up and said, hey, man, he had a slab of waters. He probably came to you guys at the front as well. Yeah. And he's like, here, have a bottle of water. Like, that sort of stuff is just fucking awesome. Like, he was so excited to be part of the thing that he didn't even need to play to derive enjoyment from it. I just want to give Mick a shout out as well. You're right. Mick, Dan, Dennis, those guys as the TO support just like went over and above. And there was a couple of times Dan came over. It's like, hey man, how's your game going? What's this? What's that? Mick came over, said, well, what the fuck's that yellow model? I'm like, Mick, that's the actual Marathi model. That's not even a proxy, dude. And they were just awesome. Dennis is really great. So massive shout out to them. I think it's easy to be overlooked, and people think it's Cancon. And for all the great work that Clint does, it's all the people around him as well that make the thing tick.
100%. We had a big call on table 6, on round 6 final table, and of all the people in the world, it was is something within 3 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if there's someone in the world at this moment who I would want to make that call, it'd be Dan Brewer, and he's the judge. He just comes over and he's just like, no. Like, that motherfucker's like 2.99 inches, yes. Yeah, 2.3 inch, no. And we made like those little markers, the TSN markers and stuff. So I think that helped. But that was.
I think Games Workshop sell called a combat gauge.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
on the table.
Yeah. Joe, what was your highlight? Like your big takeaway from the weekend?
Everyone said the same thing. So.
Yeah, everyone said the community. So good luck.
Winning the belt.
Yes.
So the one of the thing I wanted to point out was Randy talked in the chat right after he had grudged me like a dick in a really dick movie. He's like, I want to take the loud one because he sounds like he's bad at Warhammer, is what he said in the chat. Like before we even knew each other, it was like the first day in the chat, right? So I was like, all right, that's how he wants to be. So Randy had also mentioned that he got a award for best terrain. So I said, I'm going to beat Randy at that too. And I won best terrain. So suck a fat one, bro.
I believe if we were to quote our good friend Jacob, who's with us in spirit, it's really #eat a dick, Randy.
Eat a dick, Randy. Yep, it's the truth. I could be. I'll petty anyone in the Warhammer community. Let's do it.
If you're listening live and you would like to out petty Joe Pagano, you can find him on the Rage of Sigmar podcast.
Yeah. I'll out petty everyone. Trust me. I'll put antifreeze in a dish and leave it out for your cat. You know what I mean?
Christ.
No, I'm not a part of that. I'd just like you to know I'm not a part of that. That's not okay.
And keep an eye out for some more petty vengeance, because this is still up for grabs, right? This is not a one-off fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much we decided that anyone in the cast between the Dwellers Below, the Honest Wargamer, and the Rage of Sigmar podcast can grudge the champion at an event or before an event if an event doesn't allow grudges. And it looks like something might be coming up around Bobo. So we'll see what happens. Keep your eyes out. But I'm not going to give that fucking belt up. And also, just so it doesn't get stagnant, we're going to rotate it. So if you hold it for a year, you got to give it up, and it goes to 2 new people. So we're going to try and keep this thing going, and we just want to see you guys doing more interesting grudge matches leading up to tournaments.
Yeah, actually,
expect the same level of hype. Yeah. Expect that sort of build up. Expect the stupid videos. We've written some bylaws and some rules around it to just guarantee that it becomes an event.
After the absorption party, I'd like to nominate Notorious to be part of this grudge. I think Notorious should be in the crew, and I'd like to put a permanent ban on Swoley being part of the grudge.
Yeah, boy. Those boys are sick cunts, you know. Yeah, boy. I'm so upset that I'm not gonna probably see Tubbs and Big Sean for a couple of years because, oh my God, I love both of them so much. I really do. They're absolute fucking maniacs. The Notorious boys are the shit, and I'm gonna probably be working out something to try and get to New Zealand to hang out because Big Sean's like, you and the wife, the baby, you could all stay with me right in Wellington and shit. So they're real sick fucks. They're great. I love them to death, dude. Sick cunts. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, everyone. A, for any help you've given me, but also for being here. It's been pretty rad. Thank you to everyone who's been watching live. If you've enjoyed it, got a right there, AOS coach. So that'd be Magro
Polo.
in the chat. Jonathan Etland, big love to you. If you've enjoyed it, thanks very much. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to everyone on the Oswald Game Patreon. You've made it so that we can do the hard work Nick was talking about earlier. If you are listening to the podcast, stay hydrated, especially important if you are anywhere hot in the world. This will be back live sometime soon, not sure when. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and all that to find out when. Thank you, guys.
Yep, we're going to go
Thank
see
you.
some animals.
Let's go see some animals. Have a good day. Goodbye.